her fresh bun flowed, her gown dragged along the floor, her supple but shifted, and her delicate steps were graceful. The noble star little whirlwind Chai Ling was half charming, half grand. She walked into the purple firmament palace, the palace that was the treasure house of the noble stars. Despite that the little whirlwind placed herself outside the star duels, it was just a pity that although these treasures were good, she nevertheless was unable to participate in the star duels. Every star maiden could only wear 2 astral treasures, otherwise, Chai Ling would be very willing to demonstrate the result of Maiden Mountain star duels by using astral treasures. The purple firmament palace's purple clouds puffed, light rays blazed, and a 10-colored treasure chi flowed. The entire treasure house was more than too, with glazed floors, a passage to the top, and large, magnificent crystal podiums lined the sides. The crystal podiums were bright and limpid. Each had an astral treasure placed upon it, with some even having prehistoric spirit treasures, magic weapons and such. These podiums altogether numbering more than 100 had invaluable magic weapons in excess of 100. Their magnificence could be clearly seen, and these podiums had forbid dances protecting them. Other than Chai Ling's star crest of the noble star, no one could undo them. Chai Ling gracefully stepped silently inside the purple firmament palace. There was a slightly charming expression out of the corner of her eye, briefly glancing at each treasure on the podiums. Gourds, paintings, blades, jade bottles, clubs, ancient texts, spirit trees, banners, bells and zither, rings, there was nothing she did not have. Dazzling the eyes, Chai Ling slightly contemplated. Her gaze flit across them one by one, not at all stopping over for too long among these treasures. I say, Chai Ling, sooner or later there will come a day when this purple firmament palace of yours will become Liangshan's public enemy. A lazy voice came from the purple firmament palace's entrance. Chai Ling did not stop wandering around. Her fingers played with her blue hair, and her gait was graceful. Kong Ho, what nonsense do you speak of? Even this palace can only help the needy for justice, take 2 things from this purple firmament palace every phase. If they can do so, this palace actually would be happy to see that. You used help the needy for justice once during the birth outline to lend that man 10 billion. You also want to obtain 2 astral treasures for the sake of that man for the current evil smiting hall phase? Kong Ho mockingly evaluated. Little whirlwind, are you moved? Chai Ling's golden thread feather fan covered her red lips, sneering. Kong Ho, you truly are becoming more and more interesting. Tell the truth. You truly want to go to the evil smiting hall. Kong Ho showed a serious expression. Chai Ling knew what she was worrying about. Because of the red ink iron certificate, the noble star was spared from the star duels, but if she were to enter the evil smiting hall, then she could not use the red ink iron certificate. Otherwise, even if she participated in the star duels, rather, in the case that she did participate in the star duels, it seemed her immense wealth was not something Chai Ling could use. At that time, she inevitably would be all alone in the world. Besides, the red ink iron certificate definitely would become the star weapon that Star Masters wanted to seize. After all, for those that possessed the red ink iron certificate, although they could not prevent death, it could become a death avoidance gold plate to pass through a calamity. With such an enticement, Kong Ho truly did not believe that in the You Die and I Live star duels, no one would not be moved. I heard you and that man ate the together to hell, but if it were me, I definitely would kill you and take your red ink iron certificate to avoid this disaster. Chai Ling was pensive, seemingly smiling yet now, truly brilliant. The queen was silent. She turned around and looked through the magic weapons on the podiums as before. What sort of magic weapons should this palace choose? Seeing you throw yourself into a man's bosom like this truly makes your servant feel heartbroken, ya? Kong Ho faced upwards and sighed. Chai Ling did not mind her, she lightly stepped about, glancing at one podium's jewelry. This jewelry consisted of 2 wrist bracelets, a frontlet, and 2 leg bracelets. Their designs were inlaid with moons and embedded with stars, beautiful to the extreme. Due to being under a forbid dance, Chai Ling could not discern the full details, but that gorgeous appearance made Chai Ling quite stirred, seeing that it had stars and moons. Come to think of it, 80% of the things were astral treasures. Thinking more, Chai Ling activated her star crest and saw the star platform for bid dance release. A rich star spirit chi sword. Chai Ling gestured with her hands, and the 5 pieces of jewelry floated. She injected her divine intent, the little whirlwind's eyes glowing. Moon seizing star taking. 3. This palace actually likes it. The 5 decorations scattered, attaching onto Chai Ling's wrists, ankles, and forehead. The jewelry's starlight twinkled, flowing light like a river. It made the originally grand noble star appear even more too high to reach. Even Emperor Liang would be slightly inferior. Chai Ling was satisfied, then again went searching for the last astral treasure. At this time, a half-blue and half-red gourd on one of the pedestals suddenly trembled in front of her, as if it was a child calling for Chai Ling. The little whirlwind fixed her eyes upon it for a moment, unable to discern the significance. Evil smiting hall was at hand, and Chai Ling did not wish to bring along a gourd of unknown origins to save her life. Besides, the appearance of the gourd in front her made the graceful Chai Ling truly unfond of it. Her heart vaguely was somewhat uneasy towards this gourd. Glancing at it, Chai Ling then looked to the next podium. Milady, a woman outside the castle calling herself the 1000 Buddha Star Chow Gai, is seeking an audience. Yuya walked to the outside of the purple firmament palace, deferentially speaking. Chai Ling and Kong Ho both froze at the same time and looked at each other. The elegant queen seemingly smiled yet did not. Chow Gai. In the end, she still came. Kong Ho was silent. Nevertheless, a slight desire to kill flit across her eyes. The 4 styles solitary path's final path was the scolding wind path, a devastating gale. Everything between heaven and earth was ground to pieces by the astral winds, whooshing. Ordinary artifacts could hardly resist. Even if they could block these violent winds, this was not a path that star cultivators who had gone through 3 paths was capable of crossing. Su Xing slowly stepped in the wind, a green treasure pearl floating high, scattering clear light in all directions. A path was open as if the squall had been cut apart by the clear light, unable to bother Su Xing in the slightest. This wind-settling pearl was a pretty good treasure, as expected. The miserable winds could not approach at all. If this was like normal, even if he could walk out, he would suffer grave consequences. Several hours later, Su Xing walked out of the scolding wind path. The scolding wind path was the end, with an ordinary wilderness of deathly stillness. This wilderness had a spatial transfer array. As long as one stepped into the spatial transfer array, they could leave the 4 styles solitary path. Just as Su Xing was about to leave, Wu Xinjie suddenly called out at this time, "Young lord, please wait a moment." The Su Xing with one foot in grunted, "What's the matter? Young lord, do you not feel this 4 styles solitary path is somewhat strange?" Wu Xinjie emerged from the star nest, sinking into contemplation as she gazed into the wilderness. "You mean the extreme environments?" "Oh, young lord must have forgotten, but although they call it 4 styles, there actually are 5 styles." Wu Xinjie muttered. The earnestly reflecting knowledge star clearly appeared very charming. Su Xing nodded his head. Earth, wind, thunder, water, and fire indeed were the 5 styles, but earth was not within the mainstream. The 4 styles school has 4 peaks, but the main peak, Clear Heart Peak, can be considered earth spirit. However, this 4 styles solitary path nevertheless lacks a spirit. Does young lord not feel this is odd? Wu Xinjie gazed at the wilderness before her. "Xinjie, your meaning is that the 4 styles solitary path actually has 5 paths?" Su Xing was mute. "Precisely." Wu Xinjie originally did not think carefully, but seeing the wilderness in front of her, she had this sort of idea. How sharp the knowledge star's seeing clearly was, not at all confused by the 4 styles solitary path's outward appearance of 4 styles. Immediately, she felt there was also a 5th path. But there's nothing special about this wilderness. Su Xing slightly had the same feeling, but besides the being rustic and thick, the wilderness honestly was ordinary compared to the previous 4 paths, not challenging in the least. It is precisely this that it is worth a look. Wu Xinjie giggled. There is something strange about this. Su Xing immediately understood the girl's meaning, inwardly in admiration. Then let's go take a look. Su Xing flew. The wilderness completely lacked forbid dances, and the smell of dirt was dense. It was unknown how many years had passed since this place was cared for. This wilderness was not big. Flying several circles, he spotted a cliff face at the end. It did not have spirit stones like the Silent Path's profound silence crystals, with even demon beasts absent from view, which was very strange. At the end of the wilderness was an upright stele. This stele seemingly was man-made, and upon it were 3 bold ancient characters, Earth Immortal Path. As expected, this place was the 5th path. Compared to the other steles he saw, this stele had an additional ring decorative design. The 4 sides had 4 grooves, each with symbol for wind, thunder, water, and earth. There were also a scale and such, as if it could spin like a roulette. A mechanism. Wu Xinjie could tell from a glance the use of this device, showing pleasant surprise. Su Xing tried to spin the scale, as if he was unlocking it as he aligned the grooves. After all 4 completely opened, he waited for a long time, yet there was not any sort of change. Many people must have seen this. If it was easily opened, it should already have been opened. It seems this has some other mechanisms. Wu Xinjie muttered. And think so? Su Xing did not feel the 4-style school's other elders and headmasters would regard this stele as nothing. They must have spent much effort and could not release this mechanism, in the end no longer minding it. Young lord, do you still remember the mutual engenderment and mutual restraint of the 4 styles refining that little sister Lianxin mentioned? Wu Xinjie suddenly said. Earth births water, water births thunder, thunder births fire. Su Xing understood Wu Xinjie's meaning. Use the mutual engenderment and restraint of the 4 spirits to open the mechanism. After waiting expectantly for a while, what made Su Xing very disappointed was that the mechanism was motionless as before. Could it be it actually doesn't have a use, that it's just a decoration? Su Xing was helpless. This makes no sense. In Wu Xinjie's perspective, in the wilderness of deathly stillness, that the concentrated dirt qi also had this nearly neglected Earth Immortal Path stele clearly was a very standard hidden ruin. Su Xing once again tried mutual restraint, as well as other ways. In short, the roulette could spin but was limited to these ways. Why does the mutual engenderment not have earth? Gong Sun Huang emerged from the star nest, suddenly coming to speak. This wilderness ought to be earth. Wu Xinjie creased her brow. Suddenly she froze, clapped her hands and laughed. Young lord, try imbuing it with purple cloud and then using the mutual engenderment method. All right. Su Xing gathered purple cloud in his palms and once again pushed the wheel. When he pushed to the first watermark, all of a sudden, that nearly lifeless groove suddenly shot out a ray of blue light. This surprise made Wu Xinjie happy. Su Xing increased his speed, pushing the 4 grooves. The 4 grooves immediately glowed with 4 spirit lights. Immediately afterwards, with a boom, a vortex appeared in the middle. Shockingly, this was a spatial transfer array. It actually opened the mechanism, Su Xing said in admiration. Thanks to little Huang reminding Xinjie. Wu Xinjie happily said, we needed to use earth qi to act as the first condition's mutual engenderment. Truly a complicated mechanism. If it was not for young lord luckily having the purple star transforming qi, there basically was no way to open it. Su Xing deeply held the same feeling. No wonder this ruin could hide for so long and not be a concern to anyone. To use earth-type true qi as the way, the 4 styles that the 4-style school practiced did not have earth. How could they open it? Do you wish to go take a look? Gong Sun Huang asked. Looking at that spatial transfer array, Su Xing and Wu Xinjie showed crafty smiles at the same time. The idea went without saying. In the more than 1,000 years of the 4-style school, no one had entered the Earth Immortal Labyrinth. If they did not pay a visit, then how could she be worthy of the name, the Knowledge Star? The background scene changed, and the wilderness became a simple and unadorned hall. This hall was exceptionally enormous, more than 100 mu, with more than 20 flights of stairs. Both ends were densely packed with stone pillars too many to count. The huge hall's center had a single platform with a yellow book suspended above, emitting a blinding brown light. Dense earth qi endlessly poured out from the book, filling such an enormous hall with faint dust. The 100 Mu hall had yellow smoke circulating, emitting a sort of extremely old aura, as if he had placed himself into a prehistoric world. What thing unexpectedly would have such great capabilities? Su Xing and Wu Xinjie were each startled, then flew before the yellow book. The yellow book was suffused with an ancient spiritual power, dense and steaming, like a rolling yellow sea. The golden ancient script wandered about like tadpoles, extremely profound. This is the Earth Book of the Five Spirits Law Heavenly Book. Wu Xinjie cried out in surprise. Su Xing was also stunned. The Five Spirits Law Heavenly Books were ancient books, containing the immortal magic powers of heaven and earth and 5 elements. Su Xing also was not unfamiliar, for long ago he had obtained the Blooming Water volume of the Five Spirits Law Heavenly Book to cultivate the Blooming Water Divine Thunder. For this reason he was even able to mix the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. Su Xing naturally knew these immortal magics sometimes were slightly more powerful than magic weapons. However, the Five Spirits Law Heavenly Book had been lost for several millennia, and he had not heard of the history of other volumes. This seems to even be a complete Earth Book. Wu Xinjie wavered like a candle flame. They saw that this book was several times thicker compared to the Blooming Water volume. Su Xing reached out his hand to take it when an odd change suddenly occurred. That dense rolling and covering yellow qi formed a yellow membrane that blocked Su Xing out. A yellow light condensed on the book's center, forming a beautiful woman with a graceful figure, sharp brows and starry eyes, a jasper nose and supple lips. Her head wore a yellow tiara, and she was draped in a golden thread muslin waistcoat. Her body was garbed in yellow palace dress, and her feet stepped on yellow clouds. Her white hands waved, enveloping the hall with earth spirit qi. True spirit. The group entirely was shocked. The so-called true spirit referred to a magic weapon evolving the sun, moon, stars, heaven, earth and the dual modes to the peak, producing a spiritual nature. It was comparable to a demon beast opening to wisdom and assuming human form. A magic weapon in itself was also capable of transforming into a body of true spirit. However, these true spirit bodies really were not like genuinely transforming into a human. At most, taking human form could let the magic weapon's power increase, and in the case that divine intent was injected, it was incapable of being forcibly captured. Granted that even if the cultivator died, the magic weapon's true spirit also would not entirely disappear. 2. However, the magic weapon true spirit's realm had an extremely great power. That was the cultivator could pour their own divine intent into the true spirit, changing directions into becoming the most magical of Liangshan's mysteries, external incarnation. 3. Magic weapons that generated a true spirit nevertheless were extremely few. On one hand, in the case a magic weapon had been imbued with divine intent, even if it gained awareness, prior connections were no longer possible with a true spirit. A few cultivators attempted to not cultivate magic weapons into producing true spirit. Relying on heaven and earth spirit qi to form could also allow magic weapons to reach the true spirit realm, but the required time needed more than 100 years, which was far too long. Currently, the most well-known true spirit magic weapon was Emperor Liang's 72 outer void flying immortal swords. His 72 flying swords already could reach the true spirit realm, becoming the outer heaven fairies. It was precisely by relying on this supreme feat that he became the Azure Dragon Territory's #1. But Emperor Liang's flying sword true qi nevertheless was from comparison to a magic weapon's true spirit. Because flying swords were nurtured with a cultivator's life, producing a true spirit was not a rare thing. The talented often could reach the flying sword true spirit stage at supervoid stage. This Earth Book originally was a Five Spirits Law Heavenly Book buried underground in the Four Styles solitary path for unknown years, endlessly sucking in the qi of heaven and earth. Thus, it developed into the true spirit realm, turning from a secret text into a true spirit. How could this Empress 2 Earth Book be enjoyed by a mediocre man? The woman's voice was low. Calling itself Empress 2, her eyes were like boulders, imposing and dignified. The true spirit magic weapon already had intelligence. To capture it, The sole method was to defeat the magic weapon's true spirit. Otherwise, they would be killed by the true spirit. Being buried in this underground palace for so long must be lonely. Could it be you do not want to go out and see the world with your servant? Su Xing said. Empress Tu's tone was hard as a rock. Tiny star cultivator, you dare speak conceited nonsense? She shook the golden muslin damask on her body, read an incantation, and stones immediately sprayed out. The heavens were faint and the earth dark, a gale whistled, and all sides had a yellow mist. Extending his hand, Su Xing could not see his fingers. The Empress Tu that emerged from the Earth Book clearly already could use Earth Spirit abilities. Su Xing did not dare be neglectful. He waved the miraculous Bodhi tree in his hand a few times, and clear light and auspicious vapors the size of 100 mu flowed out. Green light flourished, with a myriad of magic clouds, basking all directions in a serene light, battling against Empress Tu's Earth Spirit divine light. Confronting a true spirit, Su Xing did not dare hold back. At the same time, he grabbed onto the 4 symbols seal. The 4 holy beasts looked to the sky and cried, directly booming towards Empress Tuesday. Empress Tu expressionlessly raised both her hands, and the yellow clouds spread in every direction, appearing like a gigantic yellow blanket that resisted the 4 holy beasts. The yellow clouds sunk, and the 4 holy beasts struggled. Su Xing silently shouted, "How incredible!" For it was just like they were unable to break free of the yellow cloud. He could not help but use all of his star energy. He had used the 4 holy beasts once before to face Emperor Liang, but he could not use it arbitrarily on spirit treasures with true spirits like this. Using it once required a long period of rest for nurturing. For now, hardly 10 days had passed. The true spirit holy beasts of the 4 symbols seal were exceptionally feeble, and the earth spirit's yellow light rigidly wrapped around them, not budging in the slightest. Gong Sun Huang struck a hand seal, activating several star magics in succession, yet they were stopped outside by Empress Tu's yellow barrier. Such a powerful defense? Wu Xinjie had been repelled several steps, inwardly surprised. The Earth Book's yellow light was completely hard to break open. Su Xing's forehead perspired profusely. Empress Tu then moved her hand, and a yellow sand dragon rolled across the ground, twisting to attack Su Xing. At the same time, Su Xing unleashed Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder and Purple Cloud True Star, but this yellow light was fierce. The purple light flashed and was swallowed whole by the Earth Spirit's chi. Even Emperor Liang would require great effort and time to capture this sort of true spirit magic weapon. Let alone Su Xing, if it was not for relying on several powerful prehistoric spirit weapons, Su Xing basically did not have any chances. However, Su Xing did not want to give up. Retreating 100 meters, he raised a green mountain. The 3 prehistoric spirit treasures simultaneously attacked, honestly making Su Xing nearly vomit blood. Simply advancing to Galaxy Middle Stage, he was barely able to control them. These 3 prehistoric spirit treasures were extremely powerful. If a supercluster cultivator used them, to break the Earth Book's defenses was completely nothing difficult. How could Su Xing, with his honestly too low cultivation, only Galaxy Middle Stage? Controlling them was somewhat taxing, much less even mentioning utilizing the spirit treasure's powers. The more superb the cultivator, the fewer the magic weapon abilities he could cultivate in the future. The cause was not himself, but an essence character. A refined and proficient magic weapon often could resist several magic weapons. 4 yellow lights flew around Empress Tu, too thick and too thin, becoming a light cover that continued to trap the 4 holy beasts. Then, Empress Tu waved, and the yellow sand light flashed, becoming a giant hand. The yellow light was clear, unexpectedly slapping away the green lotus peak, grabbing at Su Xing. With these exchanges, Empress Tu practically was too powerful. The large hand already reached the top of his head, yet Su Xing did not rush. He made low roar, swallowing 20 immortal water pill dews in succession. His hands flipped through seals and a purple cloud arose. The immortal thunder in the end obstructed Empress Tu's giant hand of yellow light. The yellow light went wild, and the earth spirit erupted with sand, dirt, and dust. Empress Tu stood motionless, her clothes fluttering. The swift and severe attacks gradually waned. The Earth Book inherently was good at defense, so Empress Tu was without a choice. The yellow barrier was simply tough to the extreme, allowing Su Xing to attack any way he wanted, yet it did not break. Empress Tu slowly sucked in spirit chi, just like she was preparing the next wave of powers. How could Su Xing let her? He swiped the miraculous Bodhi tree several times. As if it encountered its nemesis, it disappeared without a trace when it fell into the yellow barrier. "Allow me," Gong Sun Huang all of a sudden said flatly. Gong Sun Huang brandished the pine-brand ancient sword. Her star crest circulated, and the main hall immediately quaked. As if the heavens were overflowing and the earth was splitting, the main hall rocked. The pervasive earth spirit and yellow chi were just like a gale blew past, rolling away. Dark rank star magic. Half-destroyed landscape. Half-destroyed landscape was one of Leisure Star Gong Sun Huang's extremely powerful lethal star magics. In the case she used it, the heavens fell and the earth rend, the rivers churned and seas overturned. The rivers within 100 mu would drain. Originally, this could even break Emperor Liang's spatial sword array of the outer void flying immortals. In addition, this earth barrier was probably not any stronger than Emperor Liang's sword array, but because this place had earth spirit chi that concentrated for eons, it became this powerful to an abnormal degree. The hall immediately was rocked with a violent earthquake. The Earth Book's yellow barrier swayed like waves of water. They saw half-destroyed landscape was incapable of breaking this Earth Book defense the first time, and Su Xing's heart was dismayed. That yellow light barrier suddenly ripped open with a thin fracture. When Su Xing saw that, he immediately was overjoyed at this unexpected development. Without the slightest hesitation, he called forth the heaven-tearing flying swords, using the last bit of dragon power in the heaven-tearing flying swords, transforming into a golden dragon that fiercely slashed. This sword also was an immemorial sword chant. It was unexcelled in the world, and it was mainly focused in attacking, splitting the barrier open. Su Xing immediately released Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder and Purple Cloud True Star in succession to attack. Empress Tu raised her hands, and the earth spirit chi within 100 mu concentrated, like something prehistoric, covering the skies and earth. They saw she was about to restore this earth barrier. Su Xing's expression changed. He knew full well that if she actually repaired the barrier, they would have no way of retrieving any leeway. His heart rocked. He rapidly rushed towards the 4-symbol seal, striking 4 hand seals. The 4 holy beasts roared. Unexpectedly, the true spirits self-destructed. 4 rays of light blew apart. Using the power of the holy beasts' true spirits, even if they were weak, detonating them together was unknown levels of powerful. The shockwave of the explosion shook apart the earth spirit chi that was concentrating, giving Su Xing a chance to catch his breath. Immediately afterwards, that tear received a violent shock and tore open. Suddenly, the golden swords frantically slashed with a bang. The Earth Book's earth barrier that had been saved since prehistory suddenly shattered. Wu Xinjie was sharp-sighted and deft. She seized this chance to rush forward. When the earth barrier broke, her hand pressed down on the Earth Book, running back to Su Xing's front with it. Su Xing made an effort to support his body that was about to fall, sinking his essence, blood, and divine intent into the Earth Book. The Empress Toot true spirit of the Earth Book then groaned. Its eyes lost their sharpness, and it slowly disappeared. The yellow light across the whole sky and the concentrated earth chi bared their fangs and claws as they frantically spilled into the Earth Book to mend the damage. Until his own divine intent was thoroughly branded upon this terrifying prehistoric spirit treasure did Su Xing finally breathe a sigh of relief and fall into Wu Xinjie's bosom, nearly done for. "Young lord, you truly are wonderful," Wu Xinjie whispered and lightly kissed him. Clear Heart Hall, the plaza. Hundreds of the 4-style school's disciples whispered as the Taoist master Xian Tian and Zhu Yueka were somewhat uneasy. Half of the disciples that went through the experience this time came back. The other half probably had more misfortune than good luck. Now, the passage was about to close and still 2 people had not arrived. As it happened, these two people were extremely important to the Four Styles School. Su Xing and Yun Pengtian. The three great disciples of the Four Styles School looked at each other in dismay. These two could not have battled it out, right? Could it be they met with mishaps at the same time? Zhu Yueka's expression was very gloomy. The plaza was in a heated discussion. Everyone was making guesses, and each person wore a regretful expression. Would he die? The indifferent Tang Lianxin's face was pale, feeling the inside of her heart was suffocating in a panic. The Four Styles' solitary path already was incapable of continuing, and the Taoist master Sun Tian was left with no choice but to close it. Please wait, Tang Lianxin strictly said. Everyone present was taken aback, showing odd expressions. The solitary star did not say anything, but her expression was abnormally resolute, believing a certain someone would return. Silence. There was another moment, and the heads of the four spirit peaks already were incapable of sustaining. Everyone sighed. Tang Lianxin suddenly felt her heart was somewhat in anguish. Just at this moment, a figure appeared in another spatial transfer array. That figure was so feeble, as if he had went through a great battle of life and death, his energy so exhausted that he even made people doubt that he could still walk. But still he walked out, wearing a fearless smile. I have returned. It was Su Xing. Before Zhu Yueka could say anything, a beautiful figure flew straight to Su Xing. Everyone was shocked. Su Xing was stunned. Seeing Tang Lianxin's worried expression, the man's heart was warm, and he spread his face into a smile. His expression was weak, his smile firm. Little sister Lianxin, are you willing to live and die together with me? Tang Lianxin's heart stirred, only feeling her eyes were dry and heavy. Suddenly, she closed her eyes and kissed Su Xing's lips. The two of them tightly deep kissed. The silence at this moment conveyed more feeling than any word spoken. A star crest appeared on each other, and a crimson star immediately sparkled above Liangshan, shocking the Four Styles. Boulder armor, heaven suppressing stillness hand, and earth spirit sword form. 3. The bedroom of the bamboo house. Su Xing's hands held up the earth book, flipping through the pages to look at the immortal magic recorded within this earth book. This earth book was worthy of being called one of Liangshan's rarely seen abnormal magic weapons. Not only did it record abilities and cultivation methods, it also had use in arming the underdog. Upon opening the earth book, dense earth chi rose and wafted, enveloping him within. When Su Xing learned the purple star transforming chi, he just happened to lack usage of the immortal magic. Now, this earth book was just perfect to make up for that regret. The earth element immortal magic recorded in the book was very formidable. The boulder armor was able to allow the purple cloud to cover his upper body and transform into a defensive type armor. It was slightly more powerful than the already damaged golden thread fish scale armor. The heaven-suppressing stillness hand had chi become a giant hand, easily grabbing hold of cultivators, heavily overturning the seas and shifting the mountains. It was an incredible ability. Furthermore, the whatever earth spirit sword form and earth stabbing arts were pretty good abilities in a fight. What a pity! For the sake of this book, young Lord damaged the four symbols seal and flying swords, the green lotus peak, too. Wu Xinjie said regretfully. The true spirits of the four symbols seal's four holy beasts had self-destructed. For the four symbols seal to once again recover required at least several months' time. Now that evil smiting hall was imminent, this was not a small regret. It is impossible to be completely successful in everything. Su Xing smiled. He did not mind at all. Although the four symbols seal was great, it did not have the earth book's mystery. Possessing this book, even if he was to once again face Chao Gai, Su Xing had a bit of confidence. Wu Xinjie had wanted to say more. At this time, she sensed someone was entering, so she entered the star nest. Su Xing also put away the earth book. How could he easily reveal this level of treasure to anyone? Zhu Yueka wore a crescent moon white shirt, delicately entering the room. Seeing Su Xing, she showed a slight smile. How are your injuries? Many thanks for Master's concern, not at all a big hindrance. In actuality, after Su Xing and Tang Lianxin signed a star dual covenant, He had already recovered to his previous state. It was just that Zhu Yueka was not put at ease that she had Su Xing first return to the room to recuperate. This is good. Zhu Yueka smiled, glancing with a very deep meaning at the expressionless Tang Lianxin at the side. She beckoned with her hand to make her sit nearby. Pausing for a moment, Zhu Yueka then said, Su Xing, Lianxin, now that you two have already signed a Star Duel covenant, this is a very important matter for the four-style school. The entire school will support you with all its strength. Although Evil Smiting Hall is about to open, you must not lose heart. Disciple definitely will not disgrace the mission. Su Xing replied very earnestly. This was not because Zhu Yueka thought those sorts of words upon his lips were pleasant to hear. For the sake of the 7 beauties he thought of, he must take hold of these star duels. Zhu Tuk felt gratified, and then she discussed the four-style school's arrangements with Su Xing and Tang Lianxin. Tang Lianxin, using the kiss contract to sign onto the star duels, overturned the heavens for the four-style school. This type of matter had only been heard of, never seen, and it made the whole school's enthusiasm surge. It was just that the school could not participate in the thing. In sword chants, arrays, spirit stones and such, they would use all their power to support Su Xing. They would do all they could to make Su Xing become one of the final 7 stars. Su Xing, Master wants to ask you question. Zhu Yueka suddenly said. Master, please ask. Your senior brother Yunpinan, you two must have had something happen? Zhu Yueka feared Su Xing had a misunderstanding. She lightly smiled. There is no need for you to have misgivings. Now that you are the four-style school's star master, no one will blame you. Master, you are just wrongly blaming disciple. Su Xing cried out loud at the injustice. He really did not encounter that most promising potential star master Yun Pengtian. Of course, even if they did truly run into one another, Su Xing would at best only beat him into scrambling back home, and neither did he have interest in taking his life. Master believes you. Zhu Yueka nodded. Yun Pengtian not leaving the four-style solitary path had aroused very big waves in the four-style school. After all, Yun Pengtian was but one of the 4 great disciples. Ever since he was little, he had been raised to be a star master, consuming countless spirit pills and liquids. His talent was outstanding, and after the star duels began, he reached galaxy middle stage. It could be said that he was the four-style school's hard work, but in this experience, no one had thought Yun Pengtian would unexpectedly not appear. Furthermore, Su Xing in the end was like he had exhausted his energy. Everyone naturally thought the two had engaged each other inside. Senior sisters Song Wanji and Ran Hongxue actually supported that you did not strike treacherously, you know. Zhu Yueka smiled as she asked. Su Xing smiled. That Song Wanji would believe him was not surprising, but for that Ran Hongxue to not kick a person who was down was actually unforeseen. However, Yun Pengtian had practiced his cultivation ever since he was small, yet he never cultivated abilities, so although his cultivation was high, he nevertheless was just a gilded exterior. Master feels he has met with a mishap. Zhu Yueka flatly said. Su Xing was mute, inwardly calling out that this truly was a pity. Before, he was formidable and mighty, yet in the end, he nevertheless was scattered ash and smoke. To waste their efforts had even helped him obtain a name, truly a waste. Zhu Yueka also spoke of some of the other affairs of the star duels, even asking Tang Lianxin the materials she needed to upgrade her star weapon. Tang Lianxin's Great Void Gold Lotus unexpectedly was 1 star and unupgraded. In the star duels, people everywhere understood one logic. The higher the level of a star weapon, the greater its dominance. Starting from a 5-star destined weapon, they practically reached a realm that Liangshan continent's cultivators could only gaze from behind. The 4-style school was a tool refinement great sect. For the sake of the star duels, they had stockpiled many materials, for this was the greatest advantage of the school's star master. Zhu Yueka also guaranteed that they would not make Tang Lianxin feel wronged. Right, these things are given to you for use in the star duels. Finally, Zhu Yueka waved her hand. 5 items appeared: a palace dress, a jade hairpin, a set of silver armor, a folded talisman, and a silver flying knife. The entire 4 Styles school bestows these upon you for use in the star duels. The 7 stars Nikhang and Falling Star Hairpin are for Lianxin to use. Star generals can use 2 astral treasures, so they are perfect to give you. This 7 stars Nikhang can defend against blades, exorcise miasma, and it can confuse an earthly fiend astral treasure. The Falling Star Hairpin is a pretty good offensive astral treasure. Ju Yueka introduced them. The Heavenly Silkworm's Snow Silver Armor, 5, can protect you from injury. This is the 4 Styles high-grade talisman capable of releasing the 4 magics of wind, thunder, water, and fire. This soul-breaking sword, 6, is incapable of cutting flesh, but it can break divine intent. Seeing Ju Yueka's introductions, Su Xing was very surprised. It seemed that the 4 Styles school indeed gave a lot of thought to this. Although Su Xing currently could not possibly take a fancy to these, the average star cultivator absolutely would find these helpful items. Su Xing thanked her once again. Ju Yueka slightly smiled, only instructing for Tang Lianxin to upgrade her star weapon and no longer bothered them. For matters like the star duels, if the sect interfered too much, Maiden Mountain would be dissatisfied. This 4 Styles school truly has taken a lot of trouble, the knowledge star said. And a star master with a sect's support is not the same. Su Xing sighed. Wu Xinjie giggled. Young Lord, seriously. With Young Lord's current powers, how could the other star master be this formidable? Xinjie feels that just the Great Saint Starkiller would be more troublesome. Discussing the Great Saint Starkiller, Su Xing also had the same feelings. A super prehistoric spirit treasure, the Boundless Bell, and a flying sword ability originating from the Black Turtle Territory's Devil Palace and not inferior to the Heavenly Spirit Earthly Fiend Purple Star 5-element sword. Anyway he was examined, he was an abnormal character, far more formidable than that Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. Recalling this, Su Xing remembered that he had best forge the wood element sword as soon as possible. Now that his metal element sword needed nurturing and was incapable of further use, the top priority was to quickly produce the wood sword. For the difference of whether or not a star cultivator had a flying sword, the gap in strength honestly was too big. Su Xing certainly was fully aware of this. Little sister Lianxin, big brother fears there is something else he needs to trouble you with? Su Xing apologetically said. Tang Lianxin asked, is it the flying sword? Exactly. Su Xing explained the matter of the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Refining the flying sword materials by Tang Lianxin's methods could not be more suitable. 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo? Tang Lianxin showed shock. As a tool refinement master, she naturally knew the valiance of this item. Elder brother, how do you have such a divine item? That's a long story. In short, this is the way things are. Su Xing laughed. Tang Lianxin nodded. Right, little sister, can you refine an astral treasure from this Nuwa jade? Su Xing moved his hand and brought out this Nuwa jade. Its significance could not be discerned, but it should be quite powerful. However, Su Xing currently could not take a liking to any galaxy magic weapon. He thought that since ancient lost treasures could be refined into magic weapons, he wondered whether or not she could refine an astral treasure for the girls to use. Nuwa jade. Tang Lianxin was slightly shocked. She pondered, then replied, a lost treasure can be refined into an astral treasure, but that requires some materials to assist. What materials? Galaxy sand and such? Alright, I'll just go to Kagoshima to take a look. The wood element sword just so happens to also lack a few materials and the Putuwa purple bamboo sand. I might as well also buy those. Su Xing's teeth hurt, suddenly discovering this was a very large expenditure. Borrowing more from Chai Ling was embarrassing, and he actually could take those 100-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo to exchange. Come to think of it, he could trade. All right. Tang Lianxin agreed, still a reclusive and not wanting to discuss things' appearance. Su Xing doubted that the passion Tang Lianxin leaked when they signed a contract was an illusion. Evil Smiting Hall was on the verge of opening, and there was no time to lose. Tang Lianxin would go upgrade her star weapon and refine the evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Su Xing would go to Kagoshima to buy every sort of material required for the flying sword. He had just walked out the door. He suddenly recalled he still needed to return Ruan Hongshue's wind-settling pearl and fire dragon whip. Su Xing first went to Fire Cloud Peak. Fire Cloud Peak's temperature was very hot, enveloped in red clouds, which is how it gained the name Fire Cloud. Fire Cloud Peak's disciples cultivated fire-type cultivation methods, and they were accustomed to this blistering heat. When Su Xing went to Fire Cloud Peak, those disciples that once bickered with Su Xing gazed at him with reverence and respect. Their expressions were complex, with envy, jealousy, mockery, disdain, 100 attitudes, everything in between. Su Xing was disinclined to mind them. If they welcomed him with a smile, he returned a smile. If they welcomed him with disdain, then he returned with disdain. Junior brother Su Xing, why have you come to Fire Cloud Peak? Jiao Shu laughed when he spotted Su Xing. Su Xing's impression of him was pretty good, and he also smiled. I came to find Ruan Hongxue, to return things to her. Little sister is currently, Jiao Shu was just about to reply. A cold snort interjected. Su Xing, come over here yourself. The two of them turned their heads. Ruan Hongxue grunted, walking to a remote corner. This is your fire dragon whip and wind-settling pearl. I am returning them. Many thanks for your wind-settling pearl. Su Xing looked at Ruan Hongxue, not saying much, retuning her things. Ruan Hongxue did not rush at all to receive them, rather she twisted her brow and asked, You honestly tell me, did you kill senior brother Yun Ping'an? What would I kill him for? Su Xing could not help laughing. You truly did not kill him? Ruan Hongxue stared. Su Xing twitched his lips, disdainful. Ruan Hongxue said in a soft voice, Although you are a very loathsome person, you are not bad either. I believe you. What do I care if you believe me or not? Su Xing returned her things. I still have other matters, so I'll be leaving first. Wait a moment. Ruan Hongxue called out. Su Xing turned his head, wrinkled his brow. What is this little girl doing? This wind-settling pearl. Just take it as a gift for you for the star duels? Ruan Hongxue shyly blushed and said, Gift me? Su Xing's expression was odd. This wind-settling pearl was certainly a powerful magic weapon, perhaps the magic weapon that Ruan Hongxue was most proud of. He naturally did not believe the girl cultivated it in the silent path. You're not planning something, right? This young lady cannot gift it to you? Ruan Hongxue angrily curled her lips. This young lady certainly does not wish to see you completely lose the Four Styles School's face. She snatched the fire dragon whip, and Ruan Hongxue immediately stomped off, leaving behind a confused Su Xing where he was. Ruan Hongxue really is weird. Su Xing was not a modest person. It could not be said for certain whether the wind-settling bead would have a surprise use in the future. Another means was another opportunity. This logic he still understood. Wu Xinjie tried to stifle a laugh. Is young lord pretending to be confused? Hey Xinjie. Why does your tone sound like she's taken a fancy to me? I've done nothing to her at all. Su Xing promptly denied any relationship. He had not the slightest bit of interest in Sundra women. In actuality, how could Su Xing have known that this wind-settling pearl indeed was Ruan Hongxue's extremely previous item? When she originally lent it to Su Xing and said she picked it up from the silent path, she had only suddenly thought of fooling him to observe how he would react. According to Ruan Hongxue's mind, the wind-settling pearl was a prehistoric spirit treasure, priceless. Any star cultivator that saw it would not be unmoved. Hence, she misled Su Xing with picked up in the silent path because she wanted to know whether or not Su Xing would return the wind-settling pearl to her after he returned. If ordinary cultivators heard Ruan Hongxue's words, 8 or 9 out of 10 would take it for themselves. Since you picked it up, even if we actually took it for ourselves, you would have no choice. Ruan Hongxue actually hoped Su Xing would truly do this. On one hand, this was good for shattering the image of Su Xing being a life-saving benefactor. On the other, she just so happened to be able to take revenge on Su Xing to give him a bad reputation in the Four Styles School. But she had not anticipated that not long after, Su Xing would then come to Fire Cloud Peak. Moreover, that he was hardly reluctant to return the wind-settling pearl. This truly infuriated Ruan Hongxue to gnashing her teeth. Nevertheless, she had a favorable impression within. This wind-settling pearl was not too useful to Ruan Hongxue, and it was for this reason that she wanted to give it to Su Xing, which counted as a completed transaction. How could Su Xing bother to go wondering about why Ruan Hongxue's mood was so complicated? He currently had many prehistoric spirit treasures, and he had also obtained the Empress 2 Earth book, so he naturally disdained to go blackmail this sort of thing. Seeing that Ruan Hongxue's attitude shifted, Su Xing only took it to be that saving a life was more meritorious than building a 7-story pagoda. He then flew on his riding sword for Kagoshima, in order to gather the materials for his flying sword. Kagoshima Market Square was a surging tide of people as before. The star cultivators seemingly were even more numerous, and among them were many sect cultivators. Su Xing felt this market square truly was pretty good, saving him a lot of time. Lowering the flying sword, Wu Xinjie and Gongsun Huang had long left the star nest and followed along his left and right. Su Xing did not want to tarry, directly traveling to the Spirit Sand District. Walking into a Mount Putuo store, Su Xing found Putuo purple bamboo sand. 2. This sort of Putuo purple bamboo sand was extremely expensive. 1 liang was more than 10 million. Su Xing fully exhibited his skill at haggling prices, using a stock of 100-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo to barter. Acting as a very professional and virtuous robber, this was something that Shi Yuan obtained in the amidst all the chaos at Heavenly Gem Valley. Not that Heavenly Hem Valley had already become a thing of the past, the evil-suppressing gem bamboo truly was extinct in Liangshan, but the cultivators of Mount Putuo honestly was lacking in discerning power, considering the age of 100-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo too low. No matter what, he was unwilling to exchange 242 liang of Putuo purple bamboo sand, making Su Xing gloomy. A young girl walked on the streets of Kagoshima. The young girl was very charming, the tender age of 18 or 19. She wore a snow-white palace dress and was draped in a blue muslin shirt, clean and elegant. At first glance, she was a character like the Lingbo fairy, her appearance pure and holy, dignified and soldierly, making people not look straight at her, unable to rouse blasphemous intentions in their hearts. The girl leisurely looked along the street. Beside the girl was another girl, adorned in a light yellow long skirt, a white snowdrift waistcoat. Her thin hair was distinctly layered, cute like running waters on a tall mountain. A night pearl hung, binding her long, flowing hair. This girl's skin was beautifully white, appearing refined. Her innate beauty was that of a budding beauty. Long Nu, that frontlet is so fast, oh, and this, too, astral tool, the eyes of the girl in the light yellow long skirt released light. Her temper was very lively as she ran circles around the store. The girl called Long Nu wore a very gentle smile, feeling very helpless at her partner's behavior. Mengrui, this thing is certainly not worth a mention in the palace. Mengrui doesn't like the inside of the palace, it's too constraining. Mengrui likes this way better, when things are wide as the sky. Mengrue's eyes were incomparably tender. On the street, she spread wide her arms, as if she wanted to hug the sky. Everyone watched odd gazes, keeping far away, believing they had encountered an abnormal nutjob. Long Nu was helpless, knowing that Mengrue's natural disposition liked to be free and unconstrained. She whispered, "Being with me is actually a grievance against you, Mengrue." "Not at all." Mengrue flipped her hair, smiling sincerely without the least bit of complaint. Mengrue can only be together with Long Nu. No matter the place, Mengrue will always feel it's very vast. Long Nu smiled. But why would Longu want come take a look here? Could the reason be because of Mengrue? Mengrue ran to her side, slightly lowered her body. She blinked, a very expectant appearance. "Your star weapon is about to advance to 4-star. I am helping you search, and I also want to look at this place. I hear these sakura are like snow, a beautiful scene in Kagoshima." Long Nu said. "Oh." Passing by a Mount Putuo shop, suddenly, Long Nu cast a glance, taking note of a stalk of bamboo, showing an odd expression. "Longu?" Mengre followed Longue's line of sight and saw a man in the store currently was discussing something with the cultivator inside the store. Mengre was confused. Longnu walked inside. Call your shopkeeper over. How can the value of 100-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo be this little? Su Xing said gloomily. 150 liang of putuo purple bamboo sand is already a lot, fellow. The female cultivator respectfully said. Searching all over Kagoshima, only the Putuo Hall had amounts of Putuo purple bamboo sand sufficient enough to satisfy Su Xing, but 185 liang clearly was inadequate. Although the 100-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo was not extinct, it was rare. Besides, the quantity of Su Xing's stock was even very large. Exchanging for 2 or 3 liang was absolutely not a problem. This female cultivator evidently discerned Su Xing required large amounts of Putuo purple bamboo sand that she dared to be this low. Across all of Kagoshima, to be able to supply several hundred liang, there was only this shop. Truly, this was the stereotypical, the strong has the advantage. Su Xing was depressed. If he went to other stores to exchange, he definitely could not do so, but the price was lowered by a half. How could Su Xing be so willing? 150 liang. For a store like Mount Putuo to be so overbearing, conducting business in this way, is that appropriate? A somewhat displeased voice interrupted the negotiations between Su Xing and the female cultivator. Everyone turned their gazes, only seeing 2 beauties enter the store. One was a dignified and pure, the other innocent and gentle, both beauties. Seeing that each and every one of their moments was out of the ordinary, Su Xing felt the birth treasure outline in his astral bag resonate. His heart was startled. The birth treasure outline was capable of sensing star generals. Obviously, among one of these 2 girls was 1 star general, or both were. 100-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo, huh? This certainly is a good thing. How'd you get it? Mengre showed an expression of admiration as she looked at that strip of bamboo. What are you saying? Transactions naturally are mutually consented to? The female cultivator forced a smile. Longnu indifferently glanced at her, not minding her. Rather, she gazed at Su Xing, her limpid pupils cycling through Su Xing, Gongsun Huang and Wuxinjia. Finally, her gaze fell onto Su Xing and she smiled. This fellow, I feel that this Mount Putuo sees fellow's urgent need for a large quantity of Putuo purple bamboo sand that it would deliberately lower prices. She spoke very directly, making the Mount Putuo cultivator somewhat not too slightly. Su Xing smiled, his first impressions of this girl actually not bad, but there is no helping it. Only this place can exchange for this much purple bamboo sand. Heavenly Gem Valley has been destroyed. Now, evil-suppressing gem bamboo is increasingly precious. For fellow to exchange like this is actually a pity. Longnu said. What do you mean? Su Xing heard the meaning behind her words. The treasure feast 6 of the Crystal Dragon Palace will be convened not too long from now. Fellow, why not bring this evil-suppressing gem bamboo to the treasure feast? You certainly can exchange for an even better thing, far more precious than several hundred liang of Putuo purple bamboo sand. Longnu said. Treasure feast. Su Xing heard about it before, Liangshan's top banquet, a banquet the entire Azure Dragon territory went wild for. Some especially valuable treasures often would appear. My 100 years evil-suppressing gem bamboo perhaps cannot be put on the table, let alone that I do not have the Crystal Dragon Palace's invitation letter. Su Xing spoke forthrightly. Although the treasure banquet was good, to enter without a bit of status was not possible. Longnu nodded, suddenly pulling a smile. A crystal token appeared in her hand. If fellow is interested, I can introduce fellow into the treasure banquet. Wu Xinjia was hoarse the moment she saw that token. Unexpectedly, it was the Crystal Dragon Palace's invitation plate. Gazing at the girl in front of them, the Knowledge Star's eyes carried thoughtfulness. Seeing that token, the Mount Putuo female cultivator was also startled. Glancing at each other, she immediately whispered some instructions. They saw a female cultivator quickly walk in. Then thanks. Su Xing took the token. In his hand it was soft, yet also like glass. You must properly cherish the opportunity. Long Nu certainly thinks very highly of your things, huh? Mengrui sized up Su Xing, showing a giggling expression. Your servant is Su Xing. Su Xing announced his name. You can call me Long Nu? Long Nu had originally wanted to find an alias, but since Mengrui already said as such, she did not hide. Long Nu. This name actually was odd. Is it this young lord that wishes to exchange for Putuwa purple bamboo sand? Suddenly, a charming voice interrupted Su Xing. Su Xing turned his head, spotting a woman with a lovely smile. Clearly, she was the shopkeeper. Su Xing nodded, just about to say something. How could he have expected that shopkeeper's eyes would shine as if she saw treasure when she looked at the evil-suppressing gem bamboo, completely unlike the female cultivator just now? She shouted and scolded. Still, you have not quickly given the young lord an apology. Can this sort of thing be exchanged for 150 liang? Sorry. The female cultivator apologetically said. This means? Su Xing smiled. His counterpart nodded. A disciple cupped her hands and passed over an embroidered box. There was purple-colored spirit sand, with a bamboo-like fragrance. This is 300 liang of Putuwa purple bamboo sand. If young lord is willing to exchange, this store will exchange right now. Any surplus can be taken as an apology. The woman was all smiles as she spoke. Although she said as such, her gaze nevertheless occasionally glanced at Long Nu. Su Xing clearly understood. It seemed the status of this Long Nu was apparently very formidable, unexpectedly bringing a 180-degree change. Thanks. Su Xing nodded, exchanging the evil-suppressing gem bamboo without the slightest hesitation. Your Highness Long Nu, do you require anything? The woman respectfully said. It is best to leave a line when conducting business. Long Nu serenely said. As your Highness Long Nu says. The woman nodded. Su Xing secretly wondered, could it be that this young girl was from the legendary Crystal Dragon Palace? Next time, your servant certainly will go pay a visit to the treasure feast. Su Xing cupped his hands. And farewell. Long Nu slightly bowed, her etiquette proper. Turning around, her figure was graceful, dignified and fitting. Is this Long Nu the Crystal Dragon Palace's star master? Su Xing creased his brow, somewhat unwilling to accept this fact. Observing with seeing clearly, her cultivation unexpectedly was at supercluster early stage, an ancestor-level cultivation, honestly inconceivable. Perhaps the Xie Zhenyuan and Yen Wudao claimed to be stunning beyond compare also were merely so. Pity that he was unable to use the birth treasure outline. Otherwise, he could see what star maiden that Mengrui was. She is unmistakably the Crystal Dragon Palace's, but whether or not she is a star master is unclear. Wu Xinjie had no way of being certain. Any way it was put, Kagoshima Market Square was the Crystal Dragon Palace's jurisdiction. To make the Mount Putuwa shopkeeper be reverent and fearful, only the local boss could accomplish this. But if she was a star master, the supercluster early-stage cultivation also made Wu Xinjie speechless. Currently, the Azure Dragon Territory's three great star masters, Xie Zhenyuan, Yen Wudao and Zhao Hanyan should be attacking supercluster stage cultivation, especially when the Ling Yen princess possessed the purple star jade pendant. She should be the first to be able to break through to supercluster ancestral master level of cultivation, but at the minimum, that needed the third phase to end. They had never heard of the Long Nu before them, and that she unexpectedly broken through to supercluster stage honestly was unimaginable. Wu Xinjie immediately thought, it was the Crystal Dragon Palace that was also known as the Treasure of the Realm. They even had legendary extinct spirit medicines the likes of the 1,000-Year Tears and Water Phoenix Crystal Marrow. If they truly did not spare effort to nurture a star master's talent, this actually would not be a difficult problem. The Crystal Dragon Palace and Purple Firmament Immortal Palace of Liangshan Continent's three palaces always hid their tracks, not appearing in public. Even if it was the most important birth treasure outline, they also did not care for it. These types of secretive sects were perhaps the largest variables in the star duels, especially the latter Purple Firmament Immortal Palace which had once turned out a previous overlord. Sects like this maybe would calculate even more in the star duels. Now that the Long knew before them unexpectedly had this sort of cultivation, that purple firmament immortal palace that once produced an overlord was actually at this stage, and recalling that the Devil Star Palace also had a great Saint Star Killer, he could not be careless in these star duels. The Crystal Dragon Palace is somewhat interesting. Su Xing pondered. He tossed crystal plate, then caught it in his hand. We had better first go collect the materials. Yes. And Su Wen's white hands softly rocked. Several droplets of meticulously refined 10-year tears of Empress Wa dripped into the evil-suppressing gem bamboo. A kind of milky aroma sunk into the bamboo. The evil-suppressing clear light was increasingly sparkling, the evil-suppressing cloud marks flickering more, as if clear and peaceful bamboo scent enveloped the void immortal's abode in harmony. Success. Spending several billions worth of assets finally induced the last 10 years of growth for the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. And Su Wen thoroughly stretched and exhaled, wiping the fragrant sweat from her brow. Elder sister truly is very incredible. Shi Yuan nearby said in admiration. This is Su Wen's duty, nothing more. And Su Wen smiled. Little sister Yuaner, how is your 5 poisons banner refining? Almost there. This young lady recently was researching the 5 poisons banner array Su Xing gave. Using puppets to make the array actually has problems. However, even if there are problems, this young lady will keep going. Ichimich. Shi Yuan tugged her sleeves and said. The space broke open. Lin Yingmei and Yan Yizhen entered the immortal's abode. Sister Yingmei, Sister Little E. The 2 girls lively called out. Shi Yuan jogged over. How are the 2 elder sisters' star weapons? Lin Yingmei nodded. Clearly, there were no problems. Has young master not yet returned? Lin Yingmei asked. He is probably on a honeymoon with little sister Lianxin. Shi Yuan stifled a laugh. Lin Yingmei's eyes had an unrelieved worry. And Su Wen gently said, Is Sister Yingmei worried about Big Brother's calamity? Lin Yingmei slightly nodded her head, but she also knew that worry was unnecessary. Given Su Xing's personality, the more Chao Gai hindered him, the more he would not yield, as if he could support the heavens by himself if they were to fall. Thinking to this, Lin Yingmei herself was not aware the corner of her mouth had curled. Space again rocked. All of the girls turned their heads, believing Su Xing had returned, but when they saw who came, Lin Yingmei and Yan Yizhen's eyes sunk. Immediately, they assumed attack stances, their star weapons appearing in their hands, their offensives fully ready. The pagoda-shifting heavenly King Chao Gai slightly smiled, not arrogantly yet seemingly so. This one has only come to see you. Then we truly thank you for your troubles. A cold laugh charged through the immortal's abode. Chao Gai turned her head. Su Xing, Wu Xinjie and Gong Sun Huang had already appeared. The Su Xing who spoke stared at Chao Gai, his tone unamused. The meditative mind lotus flower, have you bloomed it? Chao Gai said. You did not have to go to the trouble. The meditative mind lotus flower had manifested signs of withering. Su Xing always was using his sea of consciousness to control it, which actually was considered steady. What, still waiting? Evil Smiting Hall will start after 7 days and will last for a time of 3 months. Afterwards, all star generals will become complete stars. At that time, if you still persist in the wrong ways, you shall regret it. This one came this time to remind you. The more star generals you have, the greater your disadvantage. Chao Gai's words made Lin Yingmei angered. Her spear stabbed directly, a cold light flowing. Su Xing used the heaven-suppressing stillness hand without the slightest hesitation, a large hand of purple cloud slapping down. The heaven-earth dark yellow thousand pagoda rose and broke up the attacks. In your eyes, could it be your sisters are all tools? Su Xing coldly said. Chao Gai said, there is no need to get angry. Sooner or later, you will know this one's labors. Su Xing stuck out his middle finger. Although she could not make sense of this gesture, Chao Gai's heart still had an indescribable anger. If you cannot pass even the calamity this one conferred, then how can you say that big talk of confronting Maiden Mountain? You are on your own. Chao Gai glanced at Su Xing, turned around and left. As it turned out, the void immortal's abode cracked, and Tang Lianxin appeared. Seeing Chao Kai, Tang Lianxin showed a shocked expression. Chao Gai did not say anything more, her figure dissolving into light and scattering. Elder brother, was that Chao Gai? Tang Lianxin asked. Precisely Chao Gai. That she came to this place, could it be? No need to mind her. So long as I, Su Xing, still have one breath, I will never allow you all to suffer harm. Su Xing solemnly said. Wu Xinjie broke into laughter. How can the sisters endure what young lord said? Su Xing laughed. Passing through this incident, the originally uneasy mood of the immortal's abode was unintentionally ended. Returning to relaxation, the grim forms still did not easily relax. Su Xing asked the Four-Style School to help with the matter of Tang Lianxin's star weapon. By the time the solitary star manifested the great void golden lotus, it would make everyone dumbstruck. Golden lotuses filled the sky, with 4 stars brilliantly glittering. A 4-star star weapon, so incredible! And Suwen cried out in surprise. I also did not think it would be this quick. Tang Lianxin herself also did not foresee she could advance her star weapon to 4-star within a single day. This speed practically was soaring into the sky with a single flap. Ju Yueka said she would not allow Tang Lianxin to feel wronged, but she never expected there would be such a pleasant surprise. Carefully thinking, this actually was a matter of course. The Four-Style School was Liangshan's peak tool refinement great sect. Even if it was in decline, its capital was very ample. Star weapon upgrade materials all were very rare. However, Tang Lianxin was an earthly star and was a tool refinement star general. Her star weapon upgrades were far from being as demanding as the other star generals. An earthly star's 4-star star weapon, however, still required 16 pieces of treasure stone and 80 liang of spirit sand. For this little amount of items, the Four-Style School still could bring these out. Mei, are you still missing anything? Su Xing asked. Your servant will refine to 3-star later. Lin Yingmei said. The materials were complete, but compared to the solitary star's 4-star, the majestic star's 3-star perhaps would make the girl even more worthy of envy. She was a heavenly star, a martial 4-star general in particular. This type of star general always was extremely difficult. Across all of the current phase, 3-star was top-ranking. Is this profound silence crystal any use to you? Su Xing took out the profound silence crystal he found in the silent path. Lin Yingmei was stunned. Your servant requires 48 pieces of profound silence crystal to refine the 5-star star weapon. Carefully counting, there were 52 pieces of profound silence crystal. With this, as long as she upgraded to 4-star, Lin Yingmei's 5-star was at hand. Young master, how did you obtain this? From what Lin Yingmei knew, profound silence crystal was very rare. Su Xing summarized the events, somewhat regretfully looking at Little E and the rest of the beautiful girls. Little E, your 3-star will need to wait a few days. Little Huang, Xinjie, Suwen, Yuaner, your 3 stars maybe will need to be put off. Due to the recently cultivated 1,000-year tears, as well as refining the flying sword and such, Su Xing also had enormous expenses. The ores and spirit medicines he should exchange nearly left him strapped for cash. If it was not for Yuaner settling the puppet wood essence by herself, even the forging of the 5 poisons puppet would become a problem. All of the girls smiled. Big brother, there is no need to worry. Leaving the star weapons to elder sisters Ying, Little E, and Little Huang will be enough. And Suwen said, Yes. Upgrading or not upgrading our star weapons really does not matter. Wu Xinjie grabbed Su Xing's arm, giggling. Star weapon upgrades are somewhat of self-respect. Su Xing shook his head. The beauties were delighted. It turned out their young master still was quite vain. In actuality, Su Xing also was aware that star weapon upgrades was not necessarily a reason to sign a contract. Very often, star masters would help star generals gather every kind of material, especially closer to the end when star weapon materials were increasingly exceeding hundreds of pieces of stones and ores, even possibly scouring the skies of Liangshan. One person by himself gathering all of these in the end was too difficult. Since the girls cared about him, Su Xing naturally did not want to disappoint the beauties. Right now, the top priority is that we had better help young Lord refine the flying sword. Wu Xinjie chuckled. Lianxin, how much time is required to refine the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo into material for 12 flying swords? 3 days. Tang Lianxin responded. 3 days. An evil smiting hall will begin in 7 days, perfect. Sisters, for these 7 days, we shall carefully plan the matters of the star beasts, so as to avoid making young Lord flustered. Wu Xinjie winked. Are we not going to the far west Buddha kingdom? Little E opened her mouth, doubtfully saying. Compared to evil's smiting hall, Su Xing's meditative mind lotus flower was even more worthy of worry. 1 month at the minimum is not a problem at all, Su Xing said. And Xinjie and young Lord have talked this over. After a month will be the swirling kingdom's grand feast of all souls. 2. At that time, 10,000 Buddhas will speak of the classics, which is the perfect opportunity to hurry over, a help to young Lord's meditative mind lotus flower. Wu Xinjie explained. Su Xing nodded his head. Since even the knowledge star said as such, everyone did not have opposing ideas. So the evil smiting hall has 3 months, but we need to settle everything within 1 month. Wu Xinjie seriously said. For the sake of young Lord, the sisters must think clearly. All of the girls' faces were grim, gravely nodding their heads. Then, they discussed the concrete details of the plan for the next 7 days. Lin Yingmei then suddenly found a problem. We arranged to meet CEO after 2 months. Now that things have changed, does that mean CEO cannot go to Evil Smiting Hall? This cannot be helped. Perhaps we can introduce CEO to Chai Ling? Wu Xinjie said. Suddenly, they found they also had promised the little whirlwind the matter of her star beast. The knowledge star looked at Su Xing tilting his head with one eye closed, wearing a happy expression. She suddenly felt, it cannot be said for sure that Liangshan continent's 1,000-year situation of sisters fighting one another in the star duels will truly end by his hand. Su Xing stared. Beneath his feet was a gorgeous and complex sword refinement array. This array was like a thriving large tree, opening its branches and leaves into 12 small arrays. Clear light rushed into the skies, and with the luxuriant green leaves, Su Xing's entire person seemed to have become an ancient tree of the firmaments. The materials refined from 12 evil-suppressing gem bamboos hovered above the small arrays. Su Xing's hand struck hand seals. Purple and magic clouds made a soft bang, and the purple clouds began to move about from the sword refinement veins. Instantly, they wrapped the 12 evil-suppressing gem bamboos within. Su Xing's mouth slowly echoed with an incantation. The purple true qi blazed more brightly than flame. It was suddenly more vigorous, and the purple light all of a sudden surged continuously. The evil-suppressing gem bamboo hovering inside began to gradually dissolve. The expression on Su Xing's expression began to become heavy as he stared at this object without blinking. After no less than an hour passed, the evil-suppressing gem bamboo gradually was pulled thin, becoming a sword embryo. Seeing this, Su Xing flung his sleeve, leisurely rolling up a jade box on the ground. The box instantly opened by itself, revealing faint purple light, a sand of pervasive spiritual power. The Putuo purple bamboo sand was formed by sanding Putuo purple bamboo 9 times by 9 times for a process of 81 times. It was an extremely fine material for forging wood-type magic weapons and the like. With a strong defensive spiritual nature, indestructible, the purple bamboo sand became a purple dust that automatically entered the sword embryo. Green light flourished, and faint cloud marks were vaguely visible following the purple bamboo sand's purple light. Then, Su Xing activated the array, striking a series of hand seals. Each sank in and disappeared, and taking a deep breath, he suddenly bit open the tip of his tongue. A mouthful of essence blood spurted from his mouth. The essence blood followed the life-bound heart flower that sunk into the sword embryo. All of them dripped in and absorbed without exception. Immediately, the sword embryo's color flashed with a brief scarlet. Su Xing's spirit shook, his eyebrows lifting. Using divine intent to suppress one of the wooden swords among them, that magic circle flickered with every kind of cryptic pattern. Su Xing's 10 fingers seemingly sketched lines, beginning to control the flying sword's revolutions. Afterwards, with a flashy style, he started to carve the shape of the wood sword. His style was firm yet also charming, as if etched with sand. Natural and unforced, the magic circle, engravings and amulets were meticulously refined in. The originally ordinary wood sword in a split second was just like a beauty that put on makeup. The blade's edge had cloud marks like running water, its clear light scathing. Fully expanding, the spiritual power was ample. 2 days later, the 12 green-colored flying swords congregated around Su Xing's body, hovering straight, immobile and motionless like the firmament's spirit bamboo. Green light flashed, circulating. The 12 flying swords were completely dark green, the evil suppressing cloud marks dazzling. The sword tips spat a powerful clear light, blowing wave upon wave, tranquil and distant. Upon the sword hilts were carved 2 words, Langya. Su Xing looked at these 12 Langya swords and still raised a surprised expression. As expected, the flying swords forged using the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo was insufferably arrogant. Clearly, it had already reached a psychic realm. The evil-suppressing clear light contained on the sword would repel ordinary evils. The clear light washed, making Su Xing appear like a hermit adept, a hint of dust blown by light winds and clouds. What made Su Xing even more surprised was that when he nurtured the Langya swords within his body, the somewhat wilted meditative mind lotus flower immediately ceased its withering. The meridians across his whole body had a warm current flow through, and his mental state reached an unprecedented tranquil realm. The heart's like mirror absolute sincerity technique clearly reached the pinnacle of the second stage. This 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo really is amazing. Su Xing praised. Langya dispersed, washing out with immemorial clear sounds. These sounds could be rated as profound, making people hearing them reflect endlessly. With expenditures this great, the price to forge the wood element flying sword did not disappoint him, as expected. Although the degree of sharpness was far from comparison to heaven tearing, Langya's evil-suppressing clear light nevertheless broke devils and eliminated evils. Reforming from the heart, it would be slightly sharper than heaven tearing in every aspect. Having finished settling the most important matter of the wood element flying sword, Su Xing sighed in relief. Next was to polish the flying sword in his dantian. Quietly waiting for 3 days, Evil's smiting hall would commence. Su Xing entered the immortal's abode alone, secluding himself in meditation as he continuously tempered Langya. At this time, he flipped his hand, and a shadowy black mirror appeared in his hand. Su Xing pondered, I wonder how Wu Xiao is doing right now? Not being able to go to Evil's smiting hall together with her is actually a pity. At a distance 3,000 li outside of Su Xing's void immortals abode Tiger Stream, 2, below Tiger Creek Mountain. 3. In the green grasses like cushions, from the mountain gorge came the bang, bang, bang sounds of fighting. A man and woman pair quickly crossed left and right, their attack methods repeatedly executing. The one attacked was a woman, her figure wonderful, her facial features cool and elegant. With flowing hair, her gait gracefully wandered among the attacks, unstained by dust. An instant later, the man and woman's attacks were exhausted, stopping one by one. The one receiving the attacks was precisely Wu Xiao. Evil's smiting hall is imminent. Challenging your servant right now is rather too worrying. Wu Xiao was preoccupied. She was unarmed, having not even brought out her star weapon. Just which elder sister are you? The attacking girl was cute. Her head wore a gold band, was garbed in golden thread green plain yellow robes, draped in a dark green cloak, stuck with a skyward club. Her hand clenched an ice-cold sharp polearm. This weapon had red tassels, coiling like a fierce tiger. The entire body was gold, silver and dark green, with 3 dazzling stars. It was the 72nd ranked complete star stream Leaping Tiger Chin Da's star weapon. Pouncing Kill Silver Light Spear. 5. Jeanlu. 6. Be careful. A smart and accomplished youth shouted from the side. He was draped in a dull blue and white robe, Galaxy Early Stage Cultivation, 12-stream heavenly water-parting flying swords actually used exceptionally. This person was known as Gong Song. 7. A star master that came from Dragon Spring Stream. Although Dragon Spring Stream could be said to be a not very well-known small sect, they had considerable understanding of mountain gorge arts. Besides, the stream-leaping Tiger Chen Da's innate skill was mountain stream flicker. 8. This type of topography could greatly promote each of their speeds and reactions, but there was no way they could have thought the two working together were helpless against the cool and elegant star general before them. In addition, their counterpart had not even used her star weapon. If you have this much confidence in your ability, then do not use your star weapon. Gong Song used a psychology. His hands formed seals, and 9 large banners appeared. The banners formed 9 spring mouths, becoming a magic circle. He used the Dragon Spring Stream's special Great Array, 9 spring mouths dragon trapping array. 9. Psychology? Wu Xiao's eyes were somewhat disdainful. Seeing the 9 spring mouths dragon trapping array, she showed a patronizing expression. No wonder they dared to come battle her. They had some capital. Your servant will not kill you. Leave on your own. After evil smiting Hall, if you wish to court death, your servant naturally will oblige you. Wu Xiao appeared absent-minded, as if they're on her mind perplexing her. While inside your servant the stream-leaping tiger's domain, elder sister is still this arrogant. You will regret it. The complete star suddenly jumped. Her figure dispersed like a shadow, in layers, seemingly real and fake. The pouncing kill silver light spear immediately launched points of cold light. Fluttering and graceful, they suddenly enveloped Wu Xiao within. Dark rank spear technique. Terrified to the bone. 10. Stream leaping tiger. Wu Xiao looked at the 9 spring mouths dragon trapping array as if it was nothing. Nimbly withdrawing 100 meters, she calmly said, "Your servant just happens to be a tiger fighter." What? The stream-leaping tiger Chenjianlu and Gong Song looked at Wu Xiao unexpectedly still able to move about this freely and were immediately shocked. But what frightened them was still afterwards. Wu Xiao actually did not bring out her star weapon. Flipping out a bottle of fine wine, she took a large swig. Then her figure swayed, and she faced the pouncing kill silver light spear barehanded. Yellow rank special move. 3 bowls of spirit's tiger intoxication. Her speed, power and reactions were even faster than before. In the blink of an eye, the stream-leaping tiger's attack pounced onto air. Wu Xiao swayed and punched Chinda into the stomach. There was an acute pain, as if bone was shattered, somewhat more powerful than compared to before. The stream-leaping tiger used the pouncing kill silver light spear to block. Nevertheless, she was incapable of intercepting the strike. Several consecutive punches made her defenses into nothing, being struck into repeatedly backwards, leaving her battered and bruised. Without using any star weapons, injuring a star general with her bare hands, and with a boxing technique so violent. You are Pilgrim Wu Song. The tiger stream very quickly recovered its tranquility, for Chenjianlu and Gong Song used the jade pendant to escape. Before a completed star general, Wu Xiao had no intentions of killing them. Searching around the tiger stream, she found several pieces of precious stones. Immediately afterwards, she sat on the white and black unicorn tiger and flew towards the mountaintop. The mountain range was extremely tall, and the peak of ice and snow also had a hot spring. Wu Xiao extended her divine intent into the surrounding several dozen li. Not detecting any figures, she dismounted. Gently undoing her skirt, her virgin fragrance rippled. Exposing her slender curves, a desirable body supple as boneless immortals, Wu Xiao entered the hot spring. That warm water was a supreme pleasure in a world of ice and snow. Bathing for a while in the hot spring, Wu Xiao pensively sighed, her mood constantly still in a mess. Originally, she had thought that leaving that man could allow her to calm down a bit, but already much time had passed. Always, the image of that repulsive man would flash past her. Regardless of whether it was his contracting the leisure star in her face or calling her that bizarre wifey, although their time in the Vermilion Bird territory was very short, It nevertheless made Wu Xiao feel those brief days were the most unforgettable since the star duels began. In this mutual plan, in the dog-eat-dog star duels, Wu Xiao for the first time had actually forgotten about the star duels, forgotten about her oath. He is Lin Yingmei's master. That is why your servant feels this way. Wu Xiao gave herself an excuse. She shook her head. How could your servant be confused by a man? A steady tone. Wu Xiao had always been firm. A month's exhaustion in this ice and snow vanished in this hot spring. Wu Xiao decided to once again reinstate herself to her previous self, to thoroughly forget that man named Su Xing, to fight only for the reputation of this generation's harm star. First of all, she decided to destroy the thing that man left behind. Wu Xiao exhaled, climbing onto the bank. Her flawless and lovely body completely lacked any covering. Her shapely body would make men wild. Turning a blind eye to the surrounding ice and snow, that chilly temperature just happened to be able to calm her mind. The white and black unicorn tiger turned its head upwards. Wu Xiao leisurely waved her hand, and an item flew out. This item was an exquisite mirror, glistening with golden light, extremely beautiful. Acting as a gift Su Xing left to Wu Xiao only took it to be proof left behind of memories in the vermilion bird territory. Keeping this kind of item with her, in the end, was too great a disturbance to her mind. Using that mirror, Wu Xiao's perfect naked body and those two frozen pupils were reflected. From this day forward, your servant will no longer have any relationship with you, Su Xing. Wu Xiao's voice broke ice and sliced snow. One hand grasped the mirror, one hand imbued star energy in preparation to destroy this mirror. The golden light increasingly dazzled, enveloping the snowy peak within. Wu Xiao unexpectedly sensed a sun-like warmth comfort her stomach. Up and down her whole body was full of warmth. That scene with the blurting when they confronted Envious of the East flashed past Wu Xiao's mind. Husband for a day, a husband for life. Again she remembered these flippant words, though they were said with some logic. Lord husband, your servant shall now bid you farewell. Wu Xiao knew this would be the last sigh that she, the harm star, would heave in this life. The odd stones were rugged, the thousand peaks jagged. Green bluebird vines hung on both sides, a cool breeze gently blew, and the creek water guzzled, evoking the image of a beautiful and secluded place. Dragon Spring Stream. The Azure Dragon territory rarely had streams become the foundational school of a sect. A man and woman walked past this tranquil place with great strides, as if that beautiful scenery of Dragon Spring Stream was nothing. Upon their faces hung indescribable dejection and unreconciliation. This man and woman were the complete star stream leaping tiger Chen Zhanlu and Gong Song. After they walked out from the void immortal's abode with unsightly expressions, they continuously traveled towards Dragon Spring Stream's main palace, walking over to Waterfall River Hall. Encountering the harmed star pilgrim Wu Song on Tiger Creek Mountain, to them, being defeated by her when she was unarmed simply was the greatest humiliation. Although Wu Song was extraordinary in unarmed combat arts and also used a yellow rank move, besides that the pilgrim Wu Song was also an expert in fighting tigers, from the perspective of the stream-leaping tiger, being defeated practically could not have been any more natural. But Chen Zhanlu was very furious, unreconciled. She could accept defeat, but she could not accept a defeat where the opponent did not even use a star weapon. Zhanlu, could it be we are still going? Gong Song was somewhat anxious. Harm star Wu Song simply was their natural nemesis. Even if Dragon Spring Stream altogether moved, they would not necessarily take down Wu Song. Recalling not so long ago that there was some Sun sect that wanted to contract Wu Song and ended up being destroyed, although Gong Song was very dedicated to the star duels, he nevertheless did not want to throw his life away. The imminent evil smiting hall was on the verge of starting. To provoke her at this time was somewhat not too wise. Chen Zhanlu turned her head. Grinding her sharp baby teeth, she looked like an angry tiger cub. Young master, do not forget. That perfect harmony is still here. Wu Song definitely will discover it. She will obstruct us there at the perfect harmony. But Wu Song, Jeanlu knows what young master is worried about. We had best first inform the headmaster of this matter, see what decision he will make. Chen Jeanlu snorted. Gong Song nodded. Along the way, some of the Dragon Spring Stream's disciples respectfully greeted them. Gong Song could not help but once again puff out his chest. Although he had just entered the ranks of star cultivators for not even 3 years, his status in the Dragon Spring Stream was just like it was second to none, and this was all due to the complete star stream leaping tiger Chen Jeanlu. The star duels were extremely dangerous, and many star generals had even been recognized by Liangshan continent's public as a set of cannon fodder. Despite this, other than materials courting death that were cannon fodder, the likes of the leader star, Song Jiang, or divine mathematician Jiang Jing. 2. The majority of people chasing after the star generals still were numerous. Just by contracting, they could enjoy the star generals' innate skill and advance their cultivation even more quickly than ordinary star cultivators. These 2 points were sufficient to make cultivators restless. Some star cultivators, so long as their luck was not that bad, they basically could reach supercluster stage cultivation by the 4th phase. This type was but the realm of the Liangshan continent's ancestors. Ordinarily, this could not necessarily be reached without 60 or 70 years, but signing a star duel covenant nevertheless easily solved that. Junior brother Gong Song. Inside Waterfall River Hall, a female cultivator slightly smiled. Although she was a senior sister, she was quite respectful. Is headmaster present? Chen Jianlu asked bluntly. An ancestral master Su Wangchun, 3, from the Most High Path has come. Headmaster is currently in a discussion with him. The female cultivator said. Ancestral master Su Wangchuan? Gong Song exclaimed. The Most High Path was worthy of being called the Azure Dragon Territory's #1 great sect, for its ancestral masters were all supercluster stage cultivation. A great sect capable of having 3 ancestral masters would have to thank the heavens. Sects like the Dragon Spring Stream had only Headmaster Taoist Master Dragon Spring as the only one to reach supercluster stage. Recently, the Most High Path had suffered misfortune again and again, which could be rated as the Azure Dragon Territory's #1 joke. The Elder Immortal Extreme Clarity praised as the strongest supercluster stage and the Supervoid stage Envious of the East had both perished in battle, shocking Liangshan. However, because of the Most High Path's actions and conduct at 5 Poisons Mountain, no one sympathized with them. On the contrary, they all saw next year's alliance of 10 drills as a joke. The one clear of Azure Dragon Territory's #1 sect was perhaps about to change owners. But they had not expected they would even send out an ancestral master at that. It seemed this sort of great sect truly was unfathomable. Gong Song could not help but feel very insignificant. The final 7 stars definitely would belong to the star masters of this type of sect. Is young master afraid? Chen Jianlu smirked. Gong Song smiled in embarrassment. Gong Song naturally will work as one with Jianlu. Chen Jianlu did not mind him, wrinkling her brow and asked, What has the Most High Path come to do? Jianlu, there are things you do not know. The Dragon Spring Stream is a member of the Most High Alliance. The headmaster must also be deferential to the Most High Path. Gong Song explained. What face does the Most High Path even have right now, unexpectedly challenging a star general? Even a Supervoid stage cultivator apparently died at Wu Song's hand. Chen Jianlu was disdainful. Suddenly, the stream leaping tiger's eyes glinted, showing a crafty expression. Wu Song, you came at the perfect time. This Su has come this time because he wishes to borrow your sect's perfect harmony spring for a use. Taoist master can also see, most recently the Most High Path urgently needs morale, and Jinyuan is off by a step. Su Wangchuan's white hair was past his knees, and his face wore a good-natured smile. On Su Wangchuan's left and right were 2 handsome young men. One was grave and stern, not saying a word, the other silent and expressionless. Taoist Master Dragon Spring had very deep fear. He knew that icily arrogant man not saying a word had been referred to as Azure Dragon Territory's #1 Star Master, Xie Jinyuan. Upon seeing him today, he was formidable as expected, already having reached the peak of galaxy, and the other disciple Bing Qingxian also was of extraordinary cultivation. He had reached the peak of galaxy middle stage too. Taoist Master Dragon Spring bitterly smiled. The perfect harmony spring was something an ancestral master of the Dragon Spring stream discovered during a certain generation of star duels. Reportedly, if two people simultaneously submerged in this pool absorbed the quintessence of the spring water, it could allow perfect harmony between their minds, uniting them in body and mind. Originally, it was to be given to companions practicing dual cultivation to use, but in star duels afterwards, it had seen use. It was discovered that star masters and star generals could become even more powerful. Since then, it had become a goal of some earthly stars in successive generations of star duels. Heavenly stars are extremely few, with very high conceit. They would not join together with a man in a married couple's bath for that bit of inner quality. Female star masters were an exception. However, the perfect harmony spring was extremely difficult to find, relying on every kind of environmental factor to naturally form. In all of the world, only the Dragon Spring stream had the sole secret technique capable of finding it. Thus, the Dragon Spring stream could join the Most High Alliance by merely relying on a single galaxy middle stage ancestral master. Your servant has already assigned a disciple to find it, however, these perfect harmony springs honestly are too few and still has not been found. Taoist Master Dragon Spring said. Evil's smiting hall is about to open. This sect hopes you can find it prior. Su Wangchuan slightly smiled. Of course, the Most High Path will be endlessly thankful. Although Liang's Most High Path has currently run into a bit of trouble, it does not mean anything. Taoist Master Dragon Spring promptly consented. This Su has heard fellow Dragon Spring School has a star master? Su Wangchuan gently said, stroking his beard, an everything is in my hand attitude. Taoist Master Dragon Spring knew that Su Wangchuan wanted to know the inside details, and he did not hide anything. She is merely the 72nd ranked complete star stream Leaping Tiger Chinda. We still count on the Most High Path. The stream Leaping Tiger? As expected, she is very compatible with the Dragon Spring stream. Su Wangchuan smiled. This is natural. This sect also counts on your sect's perfect harmony. These 9th generation star duels now truly are increasingly intense. Ever since the Purple Thunder monsters snatched this sect's prehistoric spirit treasures and broke apart the balance between each of the sects, now the other sect's star masters that do not have prehistoric spirit treasures simply can only be sent off to their deaths. This way is also good. Our Most High Path for these past few years accumulated many prehistoric spirit treasures that just happened to be able to be taken out for use. Fellow Dragon Spring needs only to be able to lend the Most High Path a helping hand. As for this matter of prehistoric spirit treasures, this Su certainly will make every effort to go request Ancestor 3 clarities. Su Wangchuan slightly smiled. Taoist Master Dragon Spring continuously said yes. Master, something has happened. At this time, a female cultivator anxiously came from outside the door and announced. Su Wangchuan was displeased. What is the matter, to be this helter-skelter, throwing aside etiquette before a guest? How scandalous! The female cultivator screamed in fright. Master, this is bad. Junior brother Gong Song and little sister Chen Zhanlu are injured and have returned. What? Taoist Master Dragon Spring stood up from his seat with a start, somewhat looking at Su Wangchuan in alarm. Let us first go see what has happened. Su Wangchuan's expression was full of concern. Yes, yes, yes. Outside the Dragon Spring Stream's Void Immortal's abode, Su Wangchuan, Xie Zhenyuan and Bing Qingxian were stopped outside. Su Wangchuan's eyelids rose. Taoist Master Dragon Spring did not mind that much, worriedly entering the Immortal's abode. When he saw Chen Zhanlu's vitality was still very good, Taoist Master Dragon Spring was startled. What is going on? Master, Zhanlu has a plan. Gong Song said just like that. After summarizing what happened, the stream Leaping Tiger coldly smiled. Zhanlu feels that Wu Song cannot be said for certain to already have begun to defile the perfect harmony spring by bathing in it. If she does not leave, that would be a waste. Now, the Most High Path has come to court death. As it happens, we can have them go draw away the harm star. How does Headmaster feel? Taoist Master Dragon Spring muttered to himself, not at all urgently answering. Chen Zhanlu slightly smiled, an appearance of having a card up her sleeve. Headmaster needs only to arbitrarily leak information for this to work. Who in Liangshan continent does not know that the Most High Path and Wu Song have a life and death hatred for one another? Even the Thousand Pagoda Star Chao Gai pays no heed. This number one great sect of the Azure Dragon is prepared to lose face to still take revenge. They naturally have one choice. Moreover, Zhanlu can sense that there is a sister nearby. And good. Taoist Master Dragon Spring immediately agreed the moment he could not think of any disadvantages. Exiting the immortal's abode, the old fox Taoist master immediately put out a grieving and helpless expression. Su Wangchuan stepped forward and asked with concern, "Fellow, why are you like this? Your sex star master is well?" "AI, in the end, his life is safe," Taoist Master Dragon Spring said. "Did she encounter another star general?" Bing Qingxian opened his mouth to ask. Taoist Master Dragon Spring explained as they walked, repeating the excuse he had prepared beforehand. More or less, Chen Zhanlu had nearly found the perfect harmony spring on Tiger Creek Mountain, but she nevertheless encountered the most terrifying fiend star of the star generals, Harm's star Wu Song. As a result, the two sides battled, yet how could the stream-leaping tiger be the tiger-fighting pilgrim's opponent? Wu Song beat her home using just her bare hands, and now, she was recovering. Wu Song. Hearing this name, Su Wangchuan's eyes had a foul light that then sunk. As Qin Zhanlu thought, the Most High Path right now took Wu Song to be its mortal enemy, one that had to die. Before Taoist Master Dragon Spring could say anything more, Su Wangchuan slightly muttered to himself and then said, "Since you have seen Wu Song, then this ancestor shall go meet her. See just what ability she has." This sect cannot meddle in the star duels and must ask that fellow Wangchuan understand. This sort of matter need not involve your sect. This sect naturally will make Wu Song pleasantly surprised. Su Wangchuan slightly smiled. He looked at Xie Zhenyuan and Bing Qingxian and slightly nodded. And how could they know that at this moment, Wu Xiao currently was about to be confronted with the most shameful scene of her whole life? The light-shifting mirror shot out a shroud of golden light that was like fire. A clump of light began to concentrate and take shape in front of her chest. Just as she thought of getting rid of her distracting thoughts, the Wu Xiao who was at peace with herself suddenly saw this change and showed confusion. At this time, the golden light instantly dimmed, and suddenly, Wu Xiao felt an unprecedented manly burning hurt her jade leg, her stomach, and even her whole body. An originally supposed to have been cut off man now was nose to nose, large eyes staring at small eyes with her. Her own threadbare body currently was being tightly stuck to by that man, with not even the smallest gap in between them. Wu Xiao had not yet returned to her senses, still under the impression another illusion had appeared. In this month since she bade Su Xing farewell, Wu Xiao always felt ill at ease, unable to set her mind to rest and not yet awakened from the vermilion bird territory. To the Harm star, this was a dangerous signal, and consequently, she thought to take the opportunity to cut all of these distracting thoughts with a hot spring in ice and snow, but she had not expected that damned bastard would appear from within the mirror. "Wifey!" Su Xing gaped and was speechless, shaken by that dreamlike stunning scene before his eyes. He had only seen the image-shifting mirror show activity and came to investigate. Who would have thought he would see the most beautiful scene of his life? Seeing Wu Xiao dumbstruck, Su Xing was somewhat worried whether or not she might have broken down. "Lord husband, Su Xing!" Wu Xiao subconsciously yelled. Sensing the two words, Lord husband, about to slip off her tongue, she immediately changed her tune. A yang fire the kind that hit people in the face clearly informed her, this bastard had appeared in the flesh. Wu Xiao immediately pushed to shove Su Xing away. Su Xing fell back a step. Suddenly she discovered if this bastard withdrew like this, then her body certainly would actually be completely seen. As a result, she then pulled. The speed of this tugging back and forth was extremely quick. Su Xing basically could not firmly plant his center of gravity, and with a stumble, he immediately fell forwards. Even Wu Xiao, in all her life, had never met with such a shameful scenario. For a while, she felt her whole body and her limbs were rigid. Su Xing fell onto her body, and this time, a contact that completely lacked reservations came onto her body. Her towering twin peaks were being pressed down, yet this was not all. Behind her was a hot spring, and the result of this fall was that the two of them plunked into the hot spring, lifting a splash. The white and black unicorn tiger whimpered and stood up. Blinking its eyes, it watched its master and a man tumble into the pool. Since Wu Xiao did not focus any killing intent against the man in front of it, the white and black unicorn tiger could only awkwardly watch. Hot spring water surged across the whole sky. In that instant, Wu Xiao's mind was blank. The two of them tightly stuck to each other, sinking into the depths just like two happily married stones. Those bubbles in the surroundings of the hot spring swept across both sides. In this completely watery world, Wu Xiao's consciousness was apparently even more chaotic yet also seemingly even more lucid. The two's eyes were fixed on one another, seemingly making everything in the surroundings disappear. The hot spring was not deep, and falling to the bottom, Su Xing had inadvertently pressed onto Wu Xiao's naked body. The nymph's two twin peaks being squished made Wu Xiao moan from her throat. Just at this moment, that comfortable spring water seemed to want to do evil things. In the water, an indescribably wonderful energy then seemed to have been provoked. Frantically, the water stirred, and countless white bubbles visible to the naked eye currently advanced towards the two wrapped together to dissolve into their skin. Their bodies then seemed to be drawn closely together like positive and negative magnets, basically unable to disengage. 3. The Wu Xiao felt an ill sense of foreboding, but her body seemed to have lost its strength. She could only allow these bubbles to blend Su Xing with her. Slowly, their lips began to draw near each other, as if even their souls began to harmonize. Wu Xiao's eyes chilled, and a gorgeous star crest suddenly manifested on Wu Xiao's forehead. The white and black unicorn tiger anxiously paced back and forth along the shore, incessantly growling at the bubbling hot spring. Boom! The hot spring soared up, lifting a spray of 100 meters. Afterwards, there was a heavy rain on the snowy peak. The entire hot spring unexpectedly had a large hole open in it. Su Xing continuously coughed, his whole body drenched. Gasping for breath, it seemed as if he had died. What sort of scene is this? Su Xing wiped his forehead and shook his head. In that instant just now, his consciousness seemingly frozen. There was a soft moan. A nymph-like body fell in front of him. Su Xing saw a pair of flawless jade feet, and following the jade feet upward were crystalline legs and slender thighs. Between the thighs was a breathtaking hidden valley, and further up was a navel and towering, supple peaks. Long hair almost completely covered the bright red summits of the twin peaks, and after those was a swan-like satiny neck. Finally, there was a cool and elegant to the extreme, absolutely beautiful face and a pair of pupils that could freeze. Roar! The white and black unicorn tiger suddenly bared its fangs, pouncing at Su Xing. Apparently, it was resentful Su Xing would so wantonly look at Wu Xiao's body. Su Xing lightly fell back, evading the white and black unicorn tiger. Wu Xiao covered her chest with one hand, and with a spin, she draped a star cultivator's cloak around herself. The white and black unicorn tiger once again bit at him, its attack very ferocious. Owing to it being Wu Xiao's star beast, Su Xing could not easily act, calling forth the 12 Langya to go block it. Little white, enough. A cold shout. The white and black unicorn tiger ceased its offensive, crouching nearby like a kitten. Su Xing turned his head to look. Wu Xiao already changed into a pilgrim's attire. A black and white long skirt outlined her graceful curves. She had traveler's armor, and her eyes seemingly were a deep galaxy, brimming with incomprehensible mystery. Truly wretched. Wu Xiao gnashed her teeth. Did you deliberately give me the mirror? Were you waiting for this opportunity? Xiao. Truly, you wrongly accuse me. Su Xing raised his hands, calling injustice. The light-shifting mirror only needed to be imbued with star energy to know its use. Su Xing not saying so was because he felt Wu Xiao would understand that on her own. How would Wu Xiao know? She imbued star energy to destroy the mirror and completely lacked the mind to care about the details of this mirror. Although this time she somewhat blundered when she recalled her incorruptible body had been seen completely by this man, her heart burned with an obscure fire. She had even wanted to cut these distracting thoughts just now, but how could she have anticipated the distracting thoughts would be increasingly deep-rooted? This hot spring also was very much an unfathomable mystery, for Wu Xiao unexpectedly felt as if she was part of the man in front of her. The perfect harmony spring originally was given to star masters to bathe in order to meld together into one. Those that immersed themselves in the spring water not only could promote their respective cultivations, the star nest would expand, and the perfect harmony realm between them would be met. The most basic characteristic of this sort of realm was the sense of belonging. In the end, Wu Xiao simply explosively exerted her star energy, blowing the perfect harmony spring clean away. Otherwise, under this perfect harmony spring, she and Su Xing would even be forced to sign a star dual covenant. Sensing this point, Wu Xiao had a very glad yet also somewhat unclear odd feeling. Just as Wu Xiao was about to speak, at this moment, she suddenly wrinkled her brow. Your servant just happens to be somewhat in a foul mood, and you actually dropped in yourself? Wu Xiao's figure moved. Disappearing from Su Xing's front, he glanced to the side. A silhouette flew out, more than a dozen jade clarity swords slashing with whooshes. The noble frost demonic lotus waved, sweeping aside these flying swords. Immediately afterwards, several magic weapons attacked, and the white and black unicorn tiger pounced towards the sky, another several dozen flying swords encircling. Xie Zhenyuan. Su Xing could not help but narrow his eyes when he saw the attacking newcomer. Along with the most high-path star master Xie Zhenyuan was another disciple called from who knows where to throw away his life. That supercluster middle stage was not bad. Su Xing did not hesitate at all to beckon with his hand. Lengya rippled with clear light, linking together into one, attacking their star generals. Careful of the flying swords. These flying swords are very unusual. Bing Qingxian was taken aback, maneuvering his own flying swords to form a sword array. Several dozen blue light flying swords rose into the air to attack, clear light flashing. Green Qi lingered, an extremely good sight. Also very powerful. Su Xing could tell the flying swords of the man in front of him were formidable, seemingly with a bit elder immortal extreme clarity's shadow. The 12 Langyu were far from as sharp as heaven tearing. Just now they barely blocked. Su Xing's action were not slow, and he then fired a purple mansion immortal thunder. Interesting. Never expected the famous harm star to unexpectedly soak in a hot spring with a man for a married couple's bath. Su Wangchuan showed an evil smile when he saw the scene on the mountain. Wu Xiao's face was slightly red, her eyes containing a thick killing intent. She soared. Do you have to be weird about wifey and I bathing together? Su Xing chuckled. He waved his hand, and an enormous hand of purple cloud grabbed at Su Wangchuan. Don't speak nonsense, who is your wifey? Wu Xiao slashed and cut away at the flying swords. On one hand, she berated in a low voice, and on the other, she did not stop in the slightest as she attacked to Xie Zhenyuan's front. This time, the currently resentful Wu Xiao overhead only took this most high path to be voyeurs, wanting to kill them in a spurt of energy. How could Xie Zhenyuan be able to block the harm star? He immediately retreated, throwing out an artifact. Do not hurt, master. At this time, a delicate girl emerged, her hands waving. They saw fine silk cover the skies and divine light flying needles flutter out and form a net. When Xie Zhenyuan saw, he shouted, Rulin, 5, go back. At the same time, he struck hand seals, using an ability. So frank, Su Xing shook his head at the same time gesturing. The large hand of purple cloud pinched at Bing Qingxian. With Su Xing's current accomplishments, to be frank, facing this somewhat strange but galaxy middle stage cultivator in front of him was not something he cared for. He prepared to swiftly kill Bing Qingxian and then go help Wu Xiao resolve her besieged situation. Suddenly, Bing Qingxian showed a sinister smile. Su Xing felt things were far from encouraging. His divine sense already was very powerful, but the opponent's attack this time still took him by surprise. A black shadow rushed at Su Xing. Practically by the time Su Xing noticed, it was already too late. A powerful and swift imposing air restrained him, rushing for his throat. A sharp star energy nearly locked him down, a kind of shock from fear entering the soul. This sort of feeling that could make people shudder was precisely dark rank star magic. Kiss of death. 6. Hearing this cold shout, a figure that could hide even more monstrously than Shi Yuan immediately appeared beside Su Xing, her saber's edge brushing across Su Xing's neck. After shooting at birds all year round, this time, he was about to be pecked by the bird. Just as Su Xing was about to stake everything on sustaining the injury to counter-kill. A surprising scene appeared. Blood splashed, and there was a feeble groan. Wu Xiao used the 10-li demonic lotus dragon slaying to reach Su Xing's side. Having just bathed in a married couple's bath, she was abnormally silent. With one move, she helped Su Xing block the slash, even repelling the sneak-attacking assassin. Xiao, are you all right? Su Xing hastily swiped the miraculous Bodhi tree to dispel all the attacks. The bottom of Wu Xiao's heart was complex when she saw the concern Su Xing showed. She realized some things could not be cut. What a good adulterous couple! Su Wangchuan angrily smiled. He had been trapped by the white and black unicorn tiger and was actually unable to do anything. Su Xing swiped the miraculous Bodhi tree to sweep aside the flying sword attacks of Xie Zhenyuan and Bing Qingxian. The star general that sneak-attacked Su Xing all of a sudden hid, completely disappearing. Wu Xiao also attacked empty space. This actually was shocking. Shi Yuan's wind-chasing shadow hiding also was a type of complete presence concealment magic, but the opponent's similar concealment even hid her murderous intent. She simply was a natural assassin. Su Xing raised his head and saw Bing Qingxuan's forehead glimmer, and his heart was inwardly startled. The Most High Path unexpectedly had another hidden star master. The Most High Path's group of 3 feigned a sneak attack to confuse Wu Xiao. Bing Qingxian was planning to once again use his Star General assassin to get rid of Star General. With that superb assassination capability of Qingying's, to dispatch a Star Master still was not something easily done. Bing Qingxian only wanted to get rid of this man that was intimate with Wu Sun in order to avenge the animosity originally formed at the birth outline. His way of thinking indeed was flawless. If it was not for Wu Xiao acting, after being kissed by Kiss of Death, Su Xing at the minimum would be half dead. Afterwards, that would allow him to grasp everything. Pity that he miscalculated the circumstances. Having just soaked in the perfect harmony spring, Wu Xiao's psychic connection had burst forth in that moment, staking everything to neutralize the danger. Why not come out for a look? Wu Xiao saw that the opposing Star General disappeared, coldly laughing. The noble frost demonic lotus sword's wind rippled, forming a powerful filling floor in a range of several dozen meters. At this time, a golden needle mixed with the golden threads covering the sky came to smother Wu Xiao and Su Xing. Su Xing and Wu Xiao turned their heads to look. That petite little girl of Xie Zhenyuan's twirled her hands in a dance, controlling 2 star weapons. They were the heavenly silkworm treasure Silk, 2, and backlighting divine needle. 3. Succeed star long-armed ape Ho Jian. Su Xing recognized this treasure and was greatly surprised. The miraculous Bodhi tree swiped out thousands of rays of clear qi to suppress this golden net. Glancing at that delicate and adorable little girl, for a moment, he was somewhat unable to react. Being labeled the Azure Dragon Territory's #1 Star Master, Xie Zhenyuan unexpectedly contracted the ranked 71st Succeed Star. This honestly was too odd. Rulin, quickly go back. I do not need you to act. Xie Zhenyuan shouted in worry. The Succeed Star Ho Rulin still possessed the innocence of childhood, her eyes exceptionally firm. Both hands were butterflies flitting through flowers, waving empty-handed. Yellow rank move. Net of deep passion. 5. Dark rank move. Heavenly silkworm golden thread needle. Continuously attacking, they became layers of golden nets that filled the sky. Wu Xiao creased her brow, apparently somewhat flabbergasted that the whole Rulin brimming with a childish nature would act, but how could the harmed star sympathize in the slightest whilst in the middle of battle? The noble frost demonic lotus raised black chi and white frost. The golden thread and needle net then shattered, simply incapable of obstructing Wu Xiao's pace. Quickly come back! Xie Zhenyuan shouted. Shua! Wu Xiao swept past Ho Rulin's side, and a streak of blood splashed out from her neck. The noble frost demonic lotus clearly had pierced through Ho Rulin's body. The small girl's eyes were shocked, and the heavenly silkworm treasure silk and backlighting divine needle's golden lights dimmed, disappearing into thin air as she then entered the star nest. Xie Zhenyuan's head sunk. Attacking like a gale, Wu Xiao did not hesitate at all to attack to his front. The purple star transforming chi launched 4 purple-colored flying swords towards Bing Qingshuan. Su Xing in the surroundings released purple thunder, staring at that star general hidden in the shadows. Bing Qingshuan was nothing to be afraid of, but his star general actually made Su Xing feel as if he was facing a great enemy. Seeing Su Xing's movements were pinned, Wu Song again attacked Xie Zhenyuan. How could Bing Qingshuan let this golden opportunity pass him by? Coldly grinning, he did not hesitate at all to raise a magic weapon. This treasure was a battle-axe-looking weapon, an earthly fiend-grade star treasure, star-hooking battle-axe. 6. The star-hooking battle-axe transformed into a heavenly rainbow, shooting straight for Su Xing's stomach. Su Xing dryly smiled, seizing the miraculous Bodhi tree and swiping several times in succession. The rainbow the star-hooking battle-axe formed had extremely fierce power, nearly running through the entire Tiger Creek Mountain. Illuminating the snowy peak, it faintly resembled being covered by the sun, shining brightly onto the snowy peak. In front of this star-hooking battle-axe, Su Xing was just like someone standing beneath a galaxy, stars in every direction. Covering the heavens and earth, there was no way he could evade, no way he could run. Last time, the Bing Qingshuan who had unintentionally obtained Elder Immortal Extreme Clarity's astral bag did not inform anyone at all, and the Elder Immortal Extreme Clarity that had been lauded as the Azure Dragon Territory's #1 supercluster cultivator had capital that could be said to be robust. This also allowed Bing Qingshuan an enormous harvest. This star-hooking battle-axe was one among them. This type of earthly fiend-grade astral treasure could not necessarily compete in the current star duels, but Bing Qingshuan believed handling a Star Master was not out of the question. Su Xing could tell this treasure was very extraordinary, seeing a brilliance bubble forth from every direction. Starlight dazzled the eyes, the power vast, but he nevertheless did not move in the slightest. He merely faced his palm forwards, his fingers like hooks, slightly curling inwards. Indistinctly, there was a purple cloud of mingling energy circulating without pause, perfectly round and flowing. Chila. 7. A sound like ripping apart a copper brocade. Su Xing used his hand to gesture, and a large hand of purple cloud extended, grabbed and immediately squeezed apart the all-concealing starlight that moved towards Su Xing. The snowy peak was still a snowy peak, as if everything just now was an illusion. At a place several meters in front of Su Xing, there was an axe-like, both blades semicircular, completely gold in color, 3 chi long, oddly made weapon. Bing Qingshuan slightly changed. He used both hands to link seals, and the star-hooking battle-axe repeatedly trembled. The purple cloud hand grabbed onto the star-hooking battle-axe, both sides battling. Go! Bing Qingshuan all of a sudden threw out a dozen talismans. A shadow rushed toward Su Xing. This shadow was not harmful at all, but it could make Su Xing's field of view entirely covered in darkness. An intense, ice-cold killing intent was suddenly leveled. Bing Qingshuan's star general suddenly leapt up like a vulture preying upon him, her dual blades slashing past Su Xing's head without the slightest hesitation. Blood did not pour out, instead becoming a mirror-like phantom. I was waiting for you. Behind her came a cold laugh. Su Xing used the mirror image talisman to appear behind his opponent, a golden treasure book appearing in his left hand while his right hand's 5 fingers flicked, shooting a purple thunder dragon claw that grabbed the Star General too late to protect herself. Purple light flashed past. Su Xing spotted a girl wrapped in black skin-tight clothes, a pair of cold purple pupils, and a biting cold murderous aura. The double-edged saber slashed and easily broke the purple thunder dragon claw. Immediately afterwards, there was another flash. She disappeared, then reappeared, clearly appearing like a ghost on the other side of Su Xing. Her weapon was like a swimming fish, like a butterfly flitting through flowers. Meanwhile, with her wrist as the center, a mournful arc of wind appeared, shooting over with a frightening speed. The formless strength became a tangible substance, and Su Xing's figure slightly rocked. Once again, he rapidly leaned forward to skirt by, having flashed past that forceful sword tip, but an even more concentrated thin saber shadow had already covered over, simply silent, a very much hidden attack. Su Xing's figure immediately reversed into a retreat, but the saber tip in front of him followed like a shadow. Those twinkling purple flames throbbed and unexpectedly accelerated in a split second. The opponent's attacks surprisingly were capable of even this speed. This point completely exceeded Su Xing's expectations. Under an attack like this, Su Xing merely made a thrilling escape. The two retreated and advanced, moving like a storm. In several breaths' time, they unexpectedly retreated halfway down the mountain's cliff face, already unable to retreat farther. Without any hesitation, Su Xing grit his teeth as he rapidly spun his body, suddenly shifting his body horizontally in midair. The saber tip whistled in the air, and there was an ear-splitting crack. It was unknown when Su Xing completely used that superb fighting level of his, but his battle strength roused, instantly already cutting apart all of the attacks of this assassin Star General's weapon. But the rapidly appearing and vanishing saber tip was tricky as a viper, seemingly appearing at any arbitrary angle. Lines of blood bloomed, and acute pain attacked his wrists. Not good, she is trying to take the miraculous Bodhi tree. Su Xing immediately sensed what the Star General was attempting to do. This made Su Xing startled to the extreme, for he truly did not anticipate a famous Star General to be so crafty. The attacks were sinister and could even take things along the way, truly not missing any opportunity. His hand immediately fired a purple lotus flower, and the 12 Langya simultaneously attacked with a clear sound. His wrist had been penetrated to the bone by a cut. Su Xing grit his teeth, yanked it out, and his figure quickly retreated. This assassin Star General did not foresee Su Xing would be so firm in extracting the blade. By the time her right hand once again brushed past Su Xing's neck, a cool and elegant figure already did not give her any chances. Wu Xiao arrived. Why not show yourself? A cold laugh accompanied the assassin's lightning-like pouncing body, one slash attacking from above, the other from below. Wu Xiao leaned to dodge the incoming sword tip. Her double-ended sword separately blocked the weapon. The assassin used full power to attack, and in a spurt of energy, the double-edged sabers crossed and stabbed. After Wu Xiao blocked, she flew backwards like a cat. Her attack skill was brilliant, the speed also absolutely quick, but directly confronting the harm star Wu Xiao, she simply was an amateur in front of an expert. Su Xing was secretly excited as he watched the two Star Generals battle. Each and every one of a few Star Generals slightly more powerful in martial force were very abnormal. Having just fought a perilous bout with this assassin, under a Star General's martial force, cultivators risking their lives to engage at close distance simply were like fish meat on the chopping board just waiting to be slaughtered. Su Xing did not dare be complacent. He attacked Bing Qingxian, purple thunder engulfing the skies. We are not the opponents of this adulterous couple, quickly flee. Su Wangchuan shouted. In spite of the two disciples, he became escape light, fleeing without a trace. Bing Qingxian looked around. Xie Zhenyuan had long disappeared, but he did not know if he was dead or if he had been killed by Wu Xiao. Qinging leave? Bing Qingxian shouted, the extreme clarity sword array transforming into a green rainbow. When that Qingying heard, the gloom of her whole body condensed. Why does sister not show herself for a look? Wu Xiao yelled, slashing. Elder sister, Qingying asks that you be careful for your man. Having been looked upon by Qingying, Qingying naturally will not let him eat or sleep in peace. The woman's tone was ice cold, finally speaking. She already was a dissipating shadow. They could tell from a glance she clearly entered the star nest. Damn it! Bing Qingxian unsightly cursed, his jade pendant cracking. Suddenly, smoke and clouds dispersed. Wu Xiao waved her hand, and upon the snowy peak, they heard a chilly wail, leaving behind a deathly stillness. Su Xing, you truly are too stupid. As a star master, you unexpectedly dared to battle a star general. Even if you have Ingmei's battle doctrine, a few star generals are still dangerous. You understand? Wu Xiao saw that Su Xing's body gurgled with blood, and she was somewhat furious. Su Xing laughed, having heard Wu Xiao's concern. He nodded, that couldn't be helped just now. What do you mean could not be helped? You must have many tricks. Wu Xiao sneered. Wifey, just look. Su Xing said, his hand then flipping open a book of treasure light. Wu Xiao was startled, and then she understood Su Xing's behavior just now. As it turned out, he was using the birth treasure outline to grasp the opponent's data. Against that sort of randomly appearing and disappearing assassin-like star general, the oblivious Su Xing indeed would be somewhat anxious. Wu Xiao's expression eased. The book's pages opened, and golden words came into view. Star position, investigative star, 9, star name, Mu Hong, Tim, nickname, unrestrained, 11, true name, Mu Qingying rank, 24th star weapon, flowing frost moon shadow, 12, 2 star, star beast. Rank, realm, 10,000 techniques 3rd stage innate skill, perception, 13, 5 elements, earth yellow rank special move, frontline murderous desire, 14, dark rank special move, death path kiss current status, contractor / Bing Qingxian detailed materials. So she was the investigative star. Wu Xiao's voice sunk. Su Xing drew in a breath. Unexpectedly, she was a heavenly star assassin. Your servant shall go to the most high path to meet her. Recalling the words that Mu Qingying left just now, Wu Xiao sneered. Wifey, it's best to leave it at that. Right now, there are other things that need to be done. Su Xing stopped her. What things? Wu Xiao turned her head. Come back with me, let's go to Evil Smiting Hall together. Su Xing smiled. Bing Qingxian returned to the Void Immortal's abode. Without saying a word, he raised a flying sword and flew out of Clarity Mountain. After he left the range of the most high path, Bing Qingxian scanned his all directions, seeing everything clearly. Young master? The investigative star Mu Qingying oddly asked. Bing Qingxian aimed in a direction. Suddenly, light flashed in his eyes. Then he patted his astral bag, his hand struck a seal, and a clump of clear qi overflowed from his pores, becoming a fog-like as it surrounded Bing Qingxuan's whole body. Faintly discernible, this was a special escape technique he learned from Elder Immortal Extreme Clarity, clear sky-high soaring escape. Bing Qingxian activated the escape technique, increasing his speed, his escape light moving rapidly in a ruse. Sensing Bing Qingxuan's intentions, Mu Qingying was silent. Escaping close to 10,000 li in this manner, Bing Qingxian suddenly stopped and gazed at the horizon. A green light twinkled at the same time. Bing Qingxuan's eyes narrowed, and he immediately dispersed the green rainbow. He stepped onto a flying sword and looked all around. In this remote and uninhabited area, he advanced with his fist cupped, shouting, Master Uncle Wangchuan. The green light stopped, scattered, and revealed the newcomer to be none other than the most high path's ancestral master Su Wangchuan. When Su Wangchuan saw Bing Qingxian, his expression immediately eased, not at such a loss as before. He slightly nodded, stroking his beard, as long as you returned safely. Ancestral Master Wangchuan, how is senior brother Zhenyuan? Qingxian has only just returned to the most high path and has not seen senior brother yet. Qingxian does not dare discuss with headmaster that he anxiously came to find master uncle. Bing Qingxian apprehensively stepped forward. Su Wangchuan did not mind at all. He should be in the immortals' abode meditating. Your servant feels that Wu Song apparently spared Zhenyuan. He can recover with a few days' rest, recalling that Azure Dragon Territory number 1 genius Xie Zhenyuan to be so unable to withstand a single blow. Su Wangchuan sighed. Definitely he had such brilliant talent. As it turned out, not listening to the headmaster's orders and contracting with a trash star general, even needing to protect said star general on the contrary, was euphemistically speaking, truly was ridiculous to the extreme, not knowing the immensity of heaven and earth. The 108 star generals could practically run amok in Liangshan after evil smiting Hall. As a single star master, even if he was any more talented, that would not be worth a damn. It was a pity that after contracting the star general, the sect could not easily say anything more. Senior brother, why did you contract the long-armed ape? Qingxian truly does not understand. With senior brother's fame and talent, the Heavenly Star's 5 tigers are not out of the question. If that long-armed ape Ho Jian was swapped for any one of the Heavenly Star's martial generals, Qingxian and senior brother definitely could have done the utmost to eliminate Wu Song and her man. Bing Qingxian had a vexed expression. Wu Song? This is too ironic. For the previous Overlord star name, that cold and elegant woman unexpectedly has a man too. Su Wangchuan recalled that cold and forceful temperament of Wu Xiao's was somewhat worthy of praise. His heart was incomparably envious. We need not discuss further Zhenyuan and that Ho Jian. In short, the headmaster's idea is to make your senior brother Zhenyuan go attract the attention of the other sections. Qingxian, you will act as backup that catch them off guard. The most high path naturally will support you. Bing Qingxian was grateful, saying with regret, the Harm Star's man has taken Ancestral Master Extreme Clarity's miraculous Bodhi tree and is now like a tiger that has grown wings. Qingxian basically is not his opponent. Su Wangchuan muttered irresolutely, this indeed is troublesome, but the other sects presumably also have headaches. The things this ancestors said to the Taoist Dragon Spring at the Dragon Spring stream really is not empty chatter. Star Master now inevitably will have powerful magic weapons, and the sect naturally will give you 1 or 2. Many thanks for Ancestral Master's care. Bing Qingxian cupped his fist, saying, Qinging, you also come out and thank Ancestral Master. A youthful woman appeared. Seeing the graceful and taut curves of her skin-tight outfit, Su Wangchuan's throat gulped. Mu Qingying bowed, respectfully saluting. Su Wangchuan nodded. Being praised like this by a legendary star general, even a heavenly star, he was somewhat pleased with himself. Qingxian also has an important matter to discuss with Ancestral Master in secret. Bing Qingxian suddenly lowered his voice. What matter is so important? Su Wangchuan stopped his flying sword. Bing Qingxian looked all around, whispering, Qingxian has heard that Ancestral Master Wangchuan has a prehistoric spirit treasure known as the Dark Sword, too, and that there is someone in the sect that has already spied upon Ancestral Master's spirit treasures. Furthermore, they are prepared to strike the Ancestral Master treacherously. Haha. And who is this reckless? This ancestor actually wants to see. Su Wangchuan laughed aloud. He suddenly spotted Bing Qingxuan's gloomy and sinister face, and his pupils all of a sudden contracted. Suddenly, a chill twisted over. Su Wangchuan did not react at all. His neck was cold, and his head flew into the sky, blood spraying several zhang like a geyser. Dark rank assassination. Death path kiss. The investigative star Mu Qingying's hand clenched the flowing frost moon shadow double edge, easily plucking Su Wangchuan's head. With this sort of least expected sneak attack in addition to a heavenly star's dark rank battle technique, the supercluster middle stage then died without being aware of anything. Bing Qingxian then easily took Su Wangchuan's astral bag, extremely insidious. Ancestral Master Wangchuan, what use is giving a trash prehistoric spirit treasure to your servant? Rather than giving them to you old but still alive farts, would it not be better to give them to Qingxian to use in the star duels, to make contributions to the sect? Bing Qingxian coldly laughed. Immediately destroying the corpse and its traces, Bing Qingxian took a deep breath. Ancestral Master Wangchuan, Qingxian definitely will make the headmaster kill that cheating couple of Wu Song and that man to take revenge for the ancestral master. You can feel relieved, huh? The cold laugh reverberated through the thick underbrush, with an indescribable gloom. Su Xing brought Wu Xiao back to the immortal's abode. Seeing Wu Xiao was somewhat meekly following alongside him, the beauties inside the immortal's abode thought their eyes were deceiving them. That harmony between Su Xing and Wu Xiao truly was very abnormal. Young lord, why did you not say anything if you were going out? You made all the sisters worried to death. When Wu Xinjie saw Su Xing was fine, she sighed in relief. Young master, you found Xiao? Lin Yingmei blinked when she saw Wu Xiao, her eyes somewhat complex. Wu Xiao slightly smiled. Your servant already heard Su Xing say that you are preparing to go into the evil smiting hall first. Your servant has come to fulfill her promise, to lend you a helping hand. Wu Xinjie's brows slightly wrinkled, feeling the bodies of Wu Xiao and Su Xing in front of her were somewhat not right, but even with the knowledge stars seeing clearly, she could not say the reason why. Su Xing, how did you find Sister Xiao? Shi Yuan curiously asked. Su Xing summarized the light-shifting image-switching mirror. Besides a few shameful circumstances that he omitted, he did not hide the Most High Path's 2-star masters. This Most High Path is so devious, to unexpectedly have 2-star masters. And Su Wen softly exhaled. The Azure Dragon territories won clear. This actually is a matter of course, but Xinjie did not expect that she would be the investigative star unrestrained Mu Hong. Wu Xinjie creased her brow, one hand upon her chin, vexed. This merits attention, for the third watch, 3, of these sisters is too terrifying. Third watch? Wu Xinjie explained. Assassin-type star generals were fierce not just in name but in reality. They randomly appeared and disappeared, their methods were terrible and could even said to lack any mercy, treating whichever sister with extreme disregard. The direct fighting capabilities of an assassin star general were not very formidable, but their sneak attack assassination arts were absolutely perfect. Star general assassins had a frightening chain assassination technique. Known as Third Watch, they used the 3 types of their heavenly, earthly, and dark skills to consecutively attack. If the target was careless, even a few superb in martial force star generals would fall dead. Previous generations had victorious star generals of this level of ferocity that had been killed off like this. If star generals were like this, then star masters required even less of a mention. If they did not have a life-saving method or did not have a star general sticking close by for protection, in the case they were sneak attacked by an assassin, then they would necessarily die. The Su Xing that had met twice with Mu Hong's attacks had lingering fears. If it was not for his divine sense being so powerful, he would already have had his head removed. Slave servant hears after the 4th phase passes, concealment-type star generals are the very first to die. Yan Yizhen calmly said, and this is true. Practically no star general would allow an assassin star general to comprehend its third watch. The majority would have been encircled and star-fallen before even having reached their heaven rank move. We had better discuss the matter of evil smiting hall. Su Xing, you have 6 sisters. It's 7, there's also little sister Lianxin. Shi Yuan giggled. Wu Xiao nodded, not surprised. 7. In the history of the star duels, this is unprecedented. No wonder Chao Gai would make such a big fuss. How do you plan to arrange this evil smiting hall? Wu Xiao asked. We had better wait until Chai Ling comes and then plan together. Lin Yingmei twitched her lips. The noble star little whirlwind? Wu Xiao was stupefied. Young master has promised to go accompany her into evil smiting hall. Lin Yingmei said. Wu Xiao's expression immediately became considerably odd. She looked at Su Xing, and those eyes seemingly were looking at a monster. As Lin Yingmei said, the day before evil smiting hall was to open, Chai Ling entered Su Xing's immortal's abode along with Jinji and Yuya. The noble star little whirlwind was still that kind of graceful, every one of her movements, every smile and frown brimming with a queen-like aura. When she saw 8 sisters inside Su Xing's abode, Chai Ling's shock was only momentary. Immediately, she used the fan to cover her mouth, as if she was smiling yet not. Nevertheless, Jinji and Yuye's eyeballs nearly popped out of their sockets. Chai Ling, you must have obtained your evil smiting hall on your own. Wu Xinjie asked her. Only naturally. Then we shall arrange the affairs of the evil smiting hall. Because of some reasons we will need to finish in 1 month. Wu Xinjie seriously said. Is it because of Chao Gai? Chai Ling smiled, charmingly glancing sideways at Su Xing, as if she was saying, your troubles this time certainly are not small. Wu Xinjie did not explain. With Chai Ling's intelligence covering the Azure Dragon territory, this was no secret at all. Successive generations of noble stars stayed outside the world of the star duels, but in actuality, they cared more about the star duels than anyone. Oftentimes, they grasped more intelligence pertaining to the star duels than anyone else could, but it was not easy to publish. Pondering briefly, Wu Xinjie then spoke about the arrangements for the evil smiting hall. The star duels had 5 phases. The first phase, heavenly and earthly stars, when the 108 star generals descended. The second phase, birth outline, which was the chance for all of the sisters to take the first step to increasing their strength, for whoever took the birth treasure outline could take a dominant position in the star duels. And this third phase, evil smiting hall, was the most critical hoop, the star beast. Each star general had their own star beast. These star beasts assisted star generals and participated in the star duels, thus turning them into genuine star generals. This was not a matter that could be executed sloppily. Sometimes, earthly stars that wanted to make a change for themselves would necessarily have to rely on their star beasts. But opportunity forever coexists with danger. Most of the time, the evil smiting hall also became the location star masters would tussle at because evil smiting hall only allowed star generals and star masters to enter. With this, star masters that ordinarily counted on backup could only count on themselves for life and death. Furthermore, there was a very harsh condition. If a star general was in the situation before time expired and was without having captured a star beast situation, in the case they entered evil smiting hall, they were incapable of leaving. So at this time, star generals or star masters would become very dangerous. Of course, the most dangerous thing to Su Xing was not this at all, but that he was the one unprecedented in history to have contracted 7 star generals. The star duel's third phase, evil smiting hall. All star generals raised an evil smiting writ to enter inside the evil smiting hall. They would search for a star beast and capture it, unable to leave for a certain amount of time. Due to the star beast and star general being one in body, using the evil smiting writ to capture them was not at all as challenging as Liangshan's 7th and 8th rank demon beasts. According to all of the star generals' differences, all star beasts were not completely the same. The rules were this simple. But there was an aspect that was not simple. Star masters that wanted to enter along with their star general had to channel their own star energy together. By doing so, the star master could only enter evil smiting hall with 1 star general. This did not count as anything. Since time immemorial for the star duels, star masters only had 1 star general. Young masters that contracted 2 star generals could only accompany one inside. This was for the sake of fairness in the evil smiting hall. Otherwise, star masters that had contracted 2 star generals could seize the chance to be unbridled in the evil smiting hall. The other star generals and star masters could only but flee without a trace. This was also saying that Su Xing with his 7 beautiful ladies and the little whirlwind, he had become the first star master in Liangshan's history to enter 8 times and exit 8 times. I do not need to squander elder brother's time. The first time the somewhat inharmonious Tang Lianxin opened her mouth made all of the girls knowingly smile. Right, I don't need any star beast. The thief star Sure Yuan agreed. Neither does Suwen need to. And Suwen also said. They were all spirit energy type star generals. Admittedly, while it was true star beasts were important, they nevertheless really could not insist on such a thing, not when Su Xing's time right now was not plentiful. The girls did not want to make Su Xing work excessively hard for their affairs. Su Xing shook his head. Since even Chai Ling is willing to take risks for the sake of a star beast, Don't you speak any further like this? Yes, little sisters. If you decline a star beast, we elder sisters will not want them either. Wu Xinjie charmingly blinked. The first-rate heavenly star generals skillful star little E, majestic star Lining Mei and leisure star Gong Sun Huang expressed each of their feelings. But if it's this way, Su Xing will have to come and go from the evil smiting hall 8 times. Shi Yuan wrinkled her brow, somewhat worried. Since you are willing to believe in me, it's only 8 times. Even if it was 18 times, I would go do it. Su Xing's expression was tender, making them feel at ease. Maiden Mountain is overbearing, and the little sister certainly cannot shrink back. Wu Xinjie cautiously warned. The 3 girls Shi Yuan, Insuwen and Tang Lianxin were silent. An earthly star's star beast is not difficult, even for this palace. You are finished planning? The corner of little whirlwind Chai Ling's mouth wryly smiled. Were it not for the noble star having seen gales and billows, handling matters without alarm, other people seeing a star master help 7-star generals capture star beasts really would have shocked them to death. Since I promised you, I will help you achieve it. Su Xing was calm. This is perfect. Then which one of you shall enter first? The Wu Xiao, who had been continuously leaned against a pillar to the side and silent, flatly spoke. This has already been planned. Wu Xinjie looked around at the sisters. We shall use ranking this time, from lowest to highest. The degree of difficulty for star beasts is also like this. This way can also greatly save time. Everyone did not object. Little whirlwind Chai Ling, there is no problem for you to act as the final one? Wu Xinjie asked. This palace does not have issue. Anyways, if your man does not help you finish capturing your star beasts, he probably will be inattentive with this palace's affairs as well. Chai Ling thoughtfully smiled. I'm also very professional and virtuous, okay? Su Xing shrugged his shoulders. Chai Ling lightly snorted, as if she was laughing yet not. Wu Xinjie turned her head to look at Wu Xiao. At that time for Chai Ling's star beast, we will have to trouble you, Xiao. Wu Xiao nodded. Everything was decided like this. That same evening, with the bright moon over the sky, at a place on one of Fire Eastern Island's spirit peaks, a youth sat at the summit's platform, bathing in the moonlight, emitting and absorbing the starlight. 12 holy jadeite flying swords flew round his body, their blue light clear, their clear chi dense. The clear light had the efficacy to fix attention, making the lonesome spirit peak and the ice-cold moonlight brim with vitality. In front of the youth, there was a remarkably beautiful fairy sitting cross-legged. This woman's countenance was untainted by dust, her yellow robes fluttering with an earthly spirit yellow chi revolving around her body, but completely lacking expression. She was missing human emotion and had a hardness. The yellow light flashed, shrouding her and the man within. The green and yellow luster then intertwined. They mixed into one whole, growing and multiplying without end, as if it was evolving prehistoric life force. The spirit bamboo and leaves around the man's whole body completely fell, and the woman's chi seemed to surge, winding around the bamboo and ringing. This man was precisely Su Xing, and the beauty sitting in front of him was the true spirit the Earth Book created, Empress Tuesday. The auras of the two mixed. At this time Su Xing was currently injecting his own divine intent into Empress Tu's, cultivating that most profound mystery of Liangshan, external incarnation arts. By doing so, Empress Tu could exist as Su Xing's doppelganger, able to travel Liangshan unrestricted. This way, if he were to encounter trouble in the future, collecting materials for star weapon upgrades also could be twice the work with half the effort. However, to make Empress Tu mix and become a genuine true spirit incarnation was extremely difficult. Just the most basic divine intent mixing was a vast undertaking, requiring things be taken step by step, with absolutely no rushing. A long time afterwards, Empress Tu opened her eyes, a streak of light flitting across them. That girl has always, immediately afterwards, the body turned to dust, vanishing into thin air. Su Xing took a deep breath, putting away the Earth Book. He rose and walked several steps. Su Xing caught sight of a girl standing on a cliff ahead, facing the wind. Her clothes floated and stuck against her gentle and beautiful body. Underneath the moonlight, those icy eyes seemed even more clear than snow, more splendid than frost. The misty running water's radiance made her appear arrogant, exceedingly. Linning Su Xing could not help but smile. Cultivating external incarnation required absolute silence. Divine intent could not be disturbed, and Linning continuously quietly stood guard nearby, quiet as if she could freeze the air. Linning snapped out of her train of thought. Young master? Never thought it's already been this long? Su Xing walked to her side, gazing at the bright moonlight, sighing. That time, young master truly was completely ignorant of the star duels. Linning lightly smiled. Recalling when they originally signed their contract, the two discussed the star duels at a nighttime bonfire just like this. At that time, Su Xing unexpectedly did not know about even star masters and such. At that time, Linning only felt the man before her eyes truly was honestly very unreliable, but still she unswervingly protected him. Now, a year had passed in the blink of an eye. Su Xing not only was very reliable, he was also very excessive. Those at his side also went from she alone to 6 sisters serving him, even having relations with thousand-year star generals the likes of Wu Xiao and Chai Ling. She was silent for a moment, and then she spoke. Young master, your servant wishes to go alone to capture her star beast. Could it be I look so useless? Su Xing feigned a hurt expression. Linning gently shook her head. No, what Lianxin said was very true. As the majestic star, your servant ought not trouble young master. For this sort of matter, even your servant alone can achieve it. There are still many sisters that have not signed a contract. If they can do so, then Yingmei can do so too. Su Xing was not one bit surprised Lin Yingmei would say this. His face wore a light smile as he walked over, putting a hand on the girl's shoulder, seemingly delicate yet more heavy than Mount Tai. The majestic star was stunned as she looked at Su Xing's hand, her face slightly red. Yingmei, do you want to give up on your star beast? Su Xing looked straight at the girl. Even the majestic star, who was wholly courageous, somewhat guiltily looked away, not replying. Star generals that have signed a contract are required to enter together with a star cultivator. If I don't go, you basically can't go. Wu Xinji already informed me about Evil Smiting Hall's rules. Are you afraid that I can't capture your star beast? Su Xing smiled and asked. A negative answer. Then, you fear that becoming a complete star general will bring me trouble? Su Xing asked again. This time, Lin Yingmei was silent. Chao Gai said that for complete star generals, that Maiden Mountain will make movements against young master. Your servant is young master's first star general. If your servant renounces her star beast, it cannot be said for certain that. Yingmei, I want to ask you a question. Su Xing suddenly interrupted her. Lin Yingmei blinked. Do you regret contracting with me for the star duels? Su Xing gazed at Lin Yingmei very earnestly. Acting as the first girl to contract with him for the star duels and change their destinies, their original contract was clearly a freak accident, a curious coincidence. To be frank, the troubles I provoke seem to be big. Even Yingmei wants to give up on star beasts. Su Xing bitterly smiled. Your servant ought not make young master worried by saying words of giving up. Lin Yingmei bit her lip. Your young master is not blaming you, but I truly want to ask you. If I met you before we hadn't signed a contract, would you have been willing to be together with me? Su Xing embraced Lin Yingmei, seriously asking. Lin Yingmei froze for a moment. She opened her mouth, yet no words came out. Seems your servant has not tried hard enough to make Ying give all her heart, cough, cough. I need to put in more effort for this. Su Xing awkwardly laughed. The corner of Lin Yingmei's mouth slightly rose, showing a noble and pure smile. In that instant, Su Xing only felt the entire world go quiet, all living things lose color. The girl closed her eyes, stepped on tiptoe and wrapped her arms around Su Xing's neck. For the first time, she initiated a kiss on Su Xing. Su Xing held her, touching their inseparable love as much as they wanted. This was the majestic star's answer. 3 Clarities Field. Main Hall. At this time, the atmosphere was a deathly stillness. the air silently making people suffocate. An elderly man sat in the position of head, quivering, but his eyes showed a fierce heat. He was the current headmaster of the Clear Void Most High Path, true Lord Dao Tian. That purple thunder monster was unbridled with Lin Chong, and now with this Wu Song he places no one in his eyes. Bullying this sect, this hatred must be avenged. We cannot forgive him. An old woman and a 40 to 50-year-old large man furiously said as they sat. Below the hall were two youths, Xie Zhenyuan and Bing Qingxian. Ever since Bing Qingxian brought back the news of Su Wangchuan's death, the entire Most High Path was shaken. The causes of death of two supercluster ancestral masters and a supervoid cultivator were mostly linked to Wu Song. This hatred could topple mountains and overturn seas, but ever since Five Poisons Mountain, in addition to the appearance of Chao Gai, not a single star cultivator was willing now to go handle the purple thunder monster or the harm star. Wu Song now has a star master. The current star duel's variables are too great. Senior Brother Headmaster, it would be best to ask Ancestral Master 3 clarities for assistance. Otherwise, the Most High Path is about to be destroyed at the hands of these fiend stars. The old woman shouted. Poor Taoist Tos. True Lord Dao Tian dignifiedly nodded his head. Afterwards, he ordered, open the sect's magic circle, quietly await for the Ancestral Master to leave seclusion. Qingxian, Zhenyuan, tomorrow is Evil Smiting Hall. Poor Taoist will grant you protective spirit treasures. Remember at all costs to be extremely careful. True Lord Dao Tian instructed, Junior brother, junior sister, you are to protect them for the time being. We defer to Senior Brother's command. Next time we see Wu Song, we must kill her. This old woman's yellow sword just happens to use a star general's blood in order to be raised. The old woman sinisterly said. Hearing of the yellow sword, a gloom flashed past Bing Qingshuan's eyes that no one sensed. The second day, Su Xing and the group gathered all together outside the Immortal's abode. At nearly the same time, all of the Star Generals' foreheads twinkled with light automatically. At that instant, each of the Star Maidens knew that Evil Smiting Hall had formally opened. Have you finished preparations? Knowledge Star Wu Xinjie asked everyone. Everyone solemnly nodded their heads. The 107th ranked Shi Yuan took the lead to walk out. She flipped her hand, and a token appeared. She walked to Su Xing's front, the two of them fixing their eyes on one another. Then, they each took in a breath, proceeding to connect their minds, injecting star energy into the Evil Smiting token. The star crests of the two simultaneously entered the Evil Smiting token, and then they saw a blackness in front of them. The scenery changed. They saw the surroundings were a boundless deep mountain, both sides filled with sheer cliffs and precipitous cliff faces. The mountains were covered in clouds and rain, drizzling down. Old pines grew all around, their iron trunks clear and crystalline. Far into the distance, the mountains were continuous and unending, exceptionally green. Su Xing stood atop his riding sword to look around. At even farther places, he could even see blue oceans, even deserts, the Gobi, scorched earth, and every sort of scene actually appeared. Looking at those surroundings, there was no visible limit in the tens of thousands of li. This was Evil Smiting Hall. This is Evil Smiting Hall? Su Xing exclaimed. Although he already knew that though Evil Smiting Hall had Hall in its name, it actually was a void star world. Inside, there were tens of thousands of large mountains, great rains, and weather marvels too numerous to count. Furthermore, the star beasts particular to star generals also dwelled in every place in the environment. However, the range really was extensive. To go find a star general's star beast alone was basically impossible. Fortunately, the star beasts particular to a star general could be sensed, otherwise, let alone taking 4 to 5 days to capture, they would not necessarily find it in 4 to 5 years. Shi Yuan intimately pulled up against Su Xing's arm, extremely content, nearly forgetting the objective of coming to Evil Smiting Hall. Seeing Shi Yuan like this, Su Xing stroked her head. Shi Yuan very pleasurably hummed, looking exactly like a cat. Su Xing was speechless. Once we got into Evil's smiting hall, you're different? This is the first time this young lady is together with you, Su Xing. Shi Yuan giggled. The first time? Su Xing suddenly understood. Ever since the two signed a contract, this indeed was the first time they were alone together. Although they once did so at the Blooming Water Sword sect, at that time, they were cautious, entering the tiger's den. How was it the same as the current enchanting scenery, this extremely fine landscape of a lover's rendezvous? I've actually somewhat wronged you all. Su Xing was disappointed and frustrated. Recalling yesterday night with Yingmei, he sighed regretfully. Although Su Xing really wanted to be romantic and loving, how could he when the star duels would not even invite people for a meal? Who? They could not make song and dance, could not paint or embroider, could not be that sort of elegant and refined. That kind of calm and refinement, that type of kind-heartedness and gentleness, especially when Maiden Mountain was already bearing its fangs, was bound to lead to a battle. They already could not be careless. We're not wronged. Shi Yuan shook her head. It was not as if she did not understand the plan. The hearts and minds of Maiden Mountain's 108 sisters were linked. An increase in the number of sisters would lead only to an increase in joy. Su Xing, if you're the final victor, what will you wish for? The thief star blinked her eyes, very expectant. To destroy the star duels? Su Xing said instantly. I just knew Su Xing would think as much. Shi Yuan smiled. Turning things around, for the past 8 generations of star duels, what have those victors wished for? Su Xing recalled. He seemingly had never heard of anything about the whereabouts of the 8 generations of star duels victors, not even any materials on them. You'll probably have to ask elder sister Xinjie or that Chai Ling about this. Shi Yuan shook her head. Su Xing muttered. They were intimate for a moment, even flirting with honeyed words. Shi Yuan really had a sort of impulse to continue this. Despite her satisfaction, despite her happiness, the thief star flea on a drum did not forget the goal of this trip to Evil's smiting hall. To be able to be sweet and intimate this one time was enough. With regards to the vast majority of participating star generals, they would hesitate only when dead or dying. Who would be like Su Xing, treating star masters as nothing, targeting Maiden Mountain directly. Yuaner, where do we go to find your star beast? Su Xing asked. Let this young lady see. Shi Yuan looked around her surroundings for a moment. The thief star changed her previous romanticness, returning to a serious manner. Suddenly, her forehead's star crest lightly twinkled. Su Xing, let's go capture the 3 burrows crafty rabbit. 3 burrows crafty rabbit? When Su Xing heard this name, he broke into laughter. What sort of weird name was this? And this young lady's star beast? Shi Yuan giggled. A star general's star beast was not at all fixed. Some were weak, some were strong, some fierce and others docile. Some could be easily captured, and others would need a bitter battle, and the star general could even be killed on the contrary. However, Evil's smiting hall was extremely large, and star beasts all had to be encountered and could not be requested. They could only depend on luck. Encountering an easily captured one meant they had good luck. If they encountered a thorny one, besides finding one anew, they could only engage in a life and death struggle. They might as well have taken the 3 months' time of Evil's smiting hall, which was more than sufficient to let star generals to go find one. Thus, after Evil's smiting hall, nearly all star generals would have a star beast. Shi Yuan's 3 burrows crafty rabbit was classified as the meek type. From its name, the characteristics of this beast could be seen. It was like the thief star, a star beast that possessed superb concealment arts. How do we find it? Su Xing asked. This young lady's way. Su Xing, you better watch, don't let it run off. Shi Yuan patted her chest, jumped off the flying sword and used wind-chasing shadow hiding. Her figure became an indistinct darkness that scattered, and all traces of her disappeared. Su Xing on the flying sword only saw a shadow quickly flit by in midair. With Su Xing's superb seeing clearly, he was unable to see the slightest gap. He knew this was her excellent concealment star magic, not an ordinary hiding magic. It was a pity that Shi Yuan could not exert killing intent when in wind-chasing shadow hiding, Otherwise she actually could be even with investigative star Mu Hong. Su Xing put away his thoughts and concentrated on staring at Shi Yuan's each and every moment. Because star generals and star beasts had a psychic reaction, he could not interfere at all. He could only help a bit when the time came to capture the star beast. Evil smiting Hall lacked time, lacked the feeling of time and ages afterwards. Shi Yuan finally stopped, beckoned with her hand, and Su Xing flew before her. He saw a cave covered with spirit grass. The Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit's den? Su Xing looked at this nondescript rabbit hole. He honestly was unable to connect a rabbit and a star beast. Yes. Shi Yuan nodded her head, expressionlessly confirming his guess. The Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit has 3 dens. To capture this young lady's star beast is very simple. We just need to destroy these 3 burrows, and it will obediently go with this young lady. Shi Yuan laughed into her sleeve. Su Xing laughed. This truly was much simpler than he imagined. From her astral bag, Shi Yuan felt out a box. The instant she opened it, a confusing smell wafted out. Inside were several particular beast-feeding pills. She used these to attract the Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit, otherwise the rabbit would not come out and destroying the star beast's burrows would be unachievable. Then, Shi Yuan drew a magic circle the thief star specially used around the beast-feeding pills. Su Xing carefully covered his figure. He entered oneness of heaven and man state and sized it up from nearby. His face moved, and Su Xing's divine sense perceived there was a small object that dug out of the rabbit hole. This made Shi Yuan delighted, and suddenly, her whole body's presence thoroughly hid. Her eyes stared without blinking at the place the beast-feeding pills were at. That small beast dug at the rabbit hole for a long time, then extended out its head. A sneaky hair appeared. This rabbit was wholly snow-white, a pair of jadeite eyes spinning round and round incessantly, even looking left and right from time to time, a timid to the extreme appearance. If it was not for this white rabbit's head having another thin eye, seemingly a third eye, Su Xing honestly would have thought it was unmistakably a normal rabbit. The star beast was psychic, that appeared unmistakable. The Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit twitched its nose, still sniffing in the direction of the beast-feeding pills. The human-like, completely engrossed expression that appeared on its face from time to time made Su Xing not know whether to laugh or cry. That Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit climbed out from the hole. Standing outside the magic circle and sniffing for a moment, its jadeite eyes spun several circles in the surroundings of those beast-feeding pills. Nevertheless, it was very cautious, as expected of the star beast worthy of being called the thief stars. Shi Yuan stuck out her tongue. The Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit somewhat unsatisfactorily sniffed from where it was, and it seemed to be planning something sinister. The materials inside the beast-feeding pill were personally mixed by the thief star herself. This completely was done according to the Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit, so she did not fear it would be unmoved. Seeing that Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit so sensitive, Shi Yuan was increasingly cautious, her expression glimpsing nervousness. After all, the Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit was the most adept at fleeing and hiding arts. They only need not be careful, and they could possibly waste all of their effort. Furthermore, they basically had no hope of drawing it out of the rabbit hole the second time. After the Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit circled around the array, its 2 long ears swayed endlessly, as if it sensed abnormalities in the nearby spirit chi, slowly without walking into the array. Su Xing and Shi Yuan both stayed calm, not even breathing, their whole bodies completely blending into one with their surroundings. The Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit then ran back inside its rabbit hole, then it climbed out again a moment later. Going back and forth several times like this, seeing that the beast-feeding pill was still there, the Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit in the end only had a bit of intelligence. It could not bear the lure, and its figure flashed. Unexpectedly, after several vertical hops, it disappeared into the nearby underbrush. Su Xing froze, somewhat not returning to his senses. Just during the time Su Xing was staring blankly, on the other side of the underbrush, a white figure flashed. That white rabbit unexpectedly had a speed that brought afterimages. Instantly, it flew from the grass right in front of the beast-feeding pills. The moment it lowered its head and stuffed the beast-feeding pill into its mouth, it wanted to run. Shi Yuan had already prepared for this. She was but the thief star, and how could she allow it to use this small trick? Striking a hand seal, the surroundings suddenly raised a square yellow barrier, firmly sealing this place off. The three burrows crafty rabbit screeched. Shi Yuan did not hesitate at all to launch a star crest. At the same time, Su Xing moved his flying sword to break the three burrows crafty rabbit's den. The three burrows crafty rabbit's figure flashed, and its whole body's snow-white fur became pitch black. Su Xing, it's about to flee. Shi Yuan shouted, throwing out a golden net that was in her hands. The three burrows crafty rabbit transformed into a shadow, immediately breaking through the magic circle. Then, it moved about at high speed along the ground, the speed unexpectedly swift to beyond reasonable limits. Don't let it back inside the burrow, Shi Yuan yelled. Su Xing already knew about the next matter. Immediately afterwards, he urged the flying swords to go forth. However, they were not for the three burrows crafty rabbit, rather he extended his divine sense and searched the entire area. He searched for the three burrows crafty rabbit's dens. Only by destroying its burrows would it be possible for it to follow Shi Yuan. Otherwise, everything was for naught. Found it? Su Xing very quickly spotted one hole, delight upon his face. But that three burrows crafty rabbit's speed unexpectedly was incredibly fast. The afterimages dazzled, the real and fakes indistinguishable. Seeing that it was about to enter the hole, the flying swords were too late. Su Xing grit his teeth, stabbing one sword into his heart. With such a heavy injury, he used the chaotic tail escape to finally rush right in front of the entrance to the three burrows crafty rabbit's den, slashing apart the entrance. The three burrows crafty rabbit's figure twisted in midair from fright when it saw Su Xing, unexpectedly drawing an arc as it shot towards another direction. When Su Xing saw this, he pursued with the chaotic tail escape. This time was very easy. They are tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.